from start to finish. And we want to have that approach in every game. And I thought VCU, we did start off all right. But then we lost our way just as far as staying in attack mode and keeping that ball moving. I thought that the ball stuck a little bit at VCU. So let's look to see if we get that ball popping around tonight against LaSalle.
Thank you, Coach. We take you live from John E. Glazer Arena, the home of the LaSalle Explorers. We get you set for A-10 men's basketball action between the hosting LaSalle Explorers and the traveling Fordham Rams. We're getting you right toward action. Just heard the player introduction, and we're getting you right to the tip-off. Tip-off goes to LaSalle, and we get this one started. It was Josiah Harris in the jump ball spot, getting it going for the Explorers. Chris Carrino joined by Joe Henry. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Chris.
That play in the lane, a score in the lane, plus the foul. Truth Harris on the floater and gets his team out to a fiery start here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, expect Fordham to have to try and weather this LaSalle team's first punch. Last week of the regular season, right, we made it here. These teams met over a month ago in the Bronx, now going down to Philadelphia. Tale of two teams, right? That was the story going into the game 5 weeks ago as Harris hits on the end one. It was a LaSalle team that made 4 and 8-10s, maybe the most impressive surprise team of the 8-10s thus far. Fordham never had 1 and 6. So two teams opposite trajectories, and now since then, LaSalle went 1 and 8 in their last 9 games. Fordham on a big streak. And this being another big goal late in the 8-10 season.
Harris working offensively. Bodiza missing on a floater. Skyhook round against LaSalle working offensively. Top of the key. Johnson getting to the rim, left side of the lane, but rejected at the rim. Across Bodiza there. Now moving the other way offensively. They go next to pass. David right corner, drives inside. Stops the middle of the lane, passes it back out. Henry back to David. Right corner, his three, it's good. David magic early in this one. It's a 3-3 tie, 19 minutes to go in the first half.
So I think you never see a player more comfortable than Dade Reeves when he's guarded by a bigger defender. That time, Rob Dockery, the 6'6 forward, he can do whatever he wants against a guy that size.
Harris backing down Reeves in the right post, throws it back out. Rob Dockery, the big man for the Explorers. Now passes it over ahead. Josiah Harris lost the ball, threw it out of bounds, and a turnover for the Explorers. Fordham will get it back offensively. 2 Harrises out there for LaSalle, Josiah and Truth. Could get slightly confusing on the air. Have to reiterate that. LaSalle Explorers in their white home uniforms with yellow trim at the bottom of their shorts, and the Fordham Rams in their classic away uniforms, maroon with white letters and numbers. Christian Henry bringing up the ball for the Rams, going right around the Schulte screen, stopping at the right elbow, looking for a pass, finds Akira Jacobs. Pass to Dede Reeves, deep on the right wing. Dede working on Harris, back out to Schulte. Schulte, dribble handoff to Christian Henry. He has it straight on. Henry through the left side of the lane, stops and pops. No good from 8 feet, and an offensive rebound brought down from the Rams. Bodiza has it, backing down his defender, spinning, turning, and finishing at the rim. Abbas Bodiza with really, really productive work on the offensive end.
And what did we see to start practice yesterday, Chris? Contact drills. Every single guy going into a defender and drawing contact. Haven't seen that a lot this year, but that's been an emphasis lately.
And Dockery missing at the rim. LaSalle on the second chance. Straight on 3, no good. And a rebound brought down by Bodiza.
Look, Chris, Fordham moving in transition.
And the Rams, like you said, moving in transition, leading to a Schulte finish under the rim. Fordham Rams not known to show a ton of pace throughout the year. There they showed a ton.
When you can get it to Chris Henry really early off that rebound and you recognize that you have numbers, you have a big man, Enrique Schulte, that loves to run the floor, that's where you get a lot of these high percentage looks, and Henry's comfortable making that deep outlet pass.
Johnson plays it in the right corner. It's now at the free throw line. Jumper is no good. Josiah Harris missing off front rim, and Fordham has it the other way.
Chance for an exclamation point to a good start for Fordham here, Chris.
The Maroons settle in offensively. Schulte, miscommunication on the dribble handoff, and he turned it over. Truth Harris has it in transition. Spot up 3, no good from the right wing. Ball batted back out, second chance for LaSalle. Left corner 3, Dockery pump faking, driving inside, facing up Akira Jacobs, his defender. Spinning left, getting inside, no good at the rim, but he'll get fouled and tripped, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Chris, he's the guy to circle if you're Fordham looking at the scouting report. He's averaging a team-high 14 points per game in A-10 play, a team-high 7.3 rebounds per game, a team-high 1.9 steals. He's 5th in the conference in that category. He's efficient as a scorer. He's dynamic. He'll shoot the three a little bit, but most of all, 6'6", big-bodied, loves to get inside. That's the exact prototype of player that Fordham has struggled most against this season. He had a big game against Fordham the last time these two played, dropped 14 points. The big guy to stop today, that's Rob Dockery. Yeah,
Dockery, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals in his first matchup against the Rams this season. He makes his first free throw. 7-4 Fordham lead, 16:45 to go in the first half. Both teams out to a pretty solid start offensively so far. Fordham 3 for 5 from the field. LaSalle 1 for 6, but they've made it work in other ways, including and ones, fouls. They've stayed in this one so far. Dockery good on the second as well. 2 of 2 trip for the big dog for the Explorers. Fordham now going to try and work offensively with an answer. Rika Schulte jogging down the court, given the Florida Gators sign as a play call. Abbas Bodija, top of the arc, driving on Dockery, back out to Jacobs. Given to Henry now. Henry on the right wing, back out to Jacobs. Jacobs, extra pass, Bodija, left wing three, no good. Hitting back iron and going right to Jaden Johnson. Johnson and LaSalle at the right wing, left to right crossover, getting around Reeves. Backdoor pass inside, no good on the finish at the rim, but the putback is good. The initial shot, no good from Nashard, and LaSalle cleans it up. 7-7 tie here in John E. Glazer Arena, 16 minutes in the first.
2-3 zone look here for a moment for LaSalle, and then switching mid-possession back to man-to-man.
Schulte has it straight on, pump fakes the three, drives inside, kicks it out. Christian Henry right wing three, no good. Rebound brought down by LaSalle. It's Dockery playing it up ahead in the right corner. Ashton Walker back out to Dockery. Dockery will reset the offense, slightly slow them down. O'Record jumps off the bench. He'll go to the scorer's table. Now in the right block. A spinning jumper, no good for Ashton Walker, but he'll go to the line for 2. Good offensive work for him in that one. It's been an offensive and defensive battle between him and Dede Reeves so far.
Absolutely. Ashton Walker, the true freshman, one of those guys in the A-10 that you can tell if he sticks around here is going to be one of the premier players in this conference. He's 6'5", he's a wing, but he's got a pep in his step. Really fast. In the fast break, that's an area where LaSalle capitalized on against Fordham the last time out. He had an impressive showing there, and now he steps into a really big role because this LaSalle team, since these teams last met, looks a lot different. They already dealt with a lot of injuries, but now, combined among all their players, they've missed 132 games this year. That's third in the country. And among them, their top 2 scorers are out for the rest of the season. That's Jerome Brewer and Jaden Marshall. Brewer had a nice game against Fordham last time they played, but Jaden Marshall was really stymied. He was their leading scorer off of the bench, so that leaves Rob Dockery, who's already a high-usage guy, in the biggest of roles for LaSalle, but he's a turnover machine, so that's the way to get him. When you're able to stop him in transition, get him to post up, you can kind of reach in there. That's a strength of this Fordham 2-3 zone. Roar Core, Rika Schulte reach in there, double team off of the post up, and then Ashton Walker, the freshman, suddenly is going to be one of this team's top scorers.
Yeah, Ashton Walker, as you said, that role has gotten a lot different as the season's gone along. He's obviously impressed at his young age, but that role to balloon out to what it has, it's obviously due to circumstance. As you said, they've had their top 2 scorers go down to injury, Marshall and Brewer. What you didn't mention was it was within all 5 days. Marshall goes down against Duquesne, the top scorer, as you said, for LaSalle. Then just 5 days later, the second leading scorer for this LaSalle team, Jerome Brewer Jr., also goes down. That's 2 guys that combined to average almost 23 points a game. Any team, let alone one that's maybe a little less talented, is going to struggle in those sort of circumstances.
And that's how quickly a season can change in this league, because we saw Fordham get off to that bad start where Chris Henry was really struggling coming off the concussion. Roar Core missed 6 games. Abbas Bodija as well. Both of them had the ankle injury, and it was, will these guys get healthy in time? The answer was yes. They end up going on that big run, and now you look at Fordham as having one of the most impressive teams in the A-10 compared to the expectations. These 2 teams in the preseason conference poll, Chris, were ranked 13th and 14th, second to last in last. And LaSalle, after beating expectations initially, all it took was that wave of injuries, and now they're thought of as an afterthought in this A-10 tournament, and they're locked into that first round.
A-10 tournament starting next Wednesday down in Pittsburgh. As Joe said, these teams both picked to finish very low in the A-10 standings. In comparison to last year, the Fordham Rams in the conference specifically go 3-15, really struggle 8-8 at home, 2-10 on the road. It's been a completely different story this season. 7-9 in the conference, a chance with 2 wins at the end of the season to finish the A10 slate at 500, 4-5 on the road, 10-7 at home this season. Coach Mike McPile in his first season has done an unbelievable job.
He absolutely has. No one could have predicted this. And let's focus on the road, too, because I think the home-road splits here is another little storyline. LaSalle has been rough on the road. 1-12 this year. They lost to Fordham on the road earlier, but they're 6-6 at home. Chris, you mentioned to me earlier today they've won 3 in a row at home. So this is where they're going to win late in the season, even though they're struggling. As Walker hits his first at the line. Fordham, on the other hand, struggled at home for a while before last week in that win streak, but on the road has been fantastic in conference play. They're 4-5, so it doesn't feel like a road trip is anything that's going to phase this Fordham team.
Walker makes the second free throw as well. It's now a 2-point lead for LaSalle, 9-7, 15.5 to go in the first half. LaSalle losing 7 of their last 8, desperate for a win. Reeves gets to a core in the right corner, back to Reeves. Now to Marcus Green on the right wing, moves toward the top of the arc. To Day Reeves, same spot. Reeves going left around to shoulder screen, now has the top of the arc, back to a core on the right wing, driving through the middle of the lane, no good at the rim, but a foul called. The contending Truth Harris, a little too much physicality. It'll send Aurora Core, the true freshman, to the line, the only true freshman on this roster.
You love to see that from Aurora Core, by the way. Pump fake, attacking a closeout, something he really hasn't done this year, and everyone's thrilled with what they've seen out of the true freshman, but you feel like for a guy with his frame, 6'8", really long arms, twitchy, I mean, he gets up in a hurry, he can finish around the rim, he makes his first free throw. Why not be more aggressive as a slasher? People think, assuming he's able to stay in Fordham Maroon next year, that's the next progression for him. Not just be a catch-and-shoot shooter, which he's been the best of any Fordham player at, but become a more well-rounded offensive threat and a guy that you really can afford to close out hard.
Aurora Core missing the second, going 1 of 2 at the line, but Fordham gets the rebound. Marcus Green's 3, no good, an air ball, and it'll be out of bounds off Fordham. Fordham with the second chance after the miss on the second free throw, and LaSalle ends up getting it after the air ball.
It's going to be interesting to see how Green reacts to that. He gets a little bit of an ovation for the air ball. That's his first shot of the game. He had a couple great games a couple weeks ago, but then really struggled against VCU. So a guy fighting for minutes here. Can he respond after a slow start?
A big theme for Fordham all season, getting free throws and actually making them. They've struggled so far already tonight. 1 of 2. Those are the first 2 free throws Fordham has seen all night. LaSalle 5 for 5 so far at the line. Dockery, left wing 3. No good off right side of rim. Offensive rebound brought down. It was the freshman. No good on the shot, but Ashton Walker going to the line for 2. Fantastic work from the freshman.
Can expect a lot of free throws in this game because the 2 highest usage guys on LaSalle now, Dockery and Walker, are guys that love to draw contact, and they have the frames to do so, especially when they're matched up against Fordham's guards. And Walker has really abused Day Reeves in that matchup so far. As good as a defender Reeves is, he is just 6'1", as Walker makes his first free throw. On the other hand, for much of the season, Fordham was ranked as the worst team in the country at getting to the line. They got to the line at the lowest percentage of any team, but in their last 5 or so games, they've been getting to the line at a well above average rate. They've taken 20 or more free throws in 5 straight, and they've been more efficient with them. So you could expect the free throw game to play a big role today.
It'll be Day Reeves now, top of the arc. After the free throws, LaSalle 11-8, 14:25 to go here in this first half. Aurora Core on the right wing. Plays it up top, Marcus Green. Green going right around a shoulder screen to Aurora Core, left wing. He'll take a 3. No good. Under heavy contest. It's now Ashton Walker and the rest of LaSalle on the break. Walker out, right wing 3. It's good. Jaden Johnson, the Baltimore native, giving LaSalle now a 6-point lead. 14-8, 14 to go in the first.
Chris, just his 5th three-point make of the year. So playing the scout right, but no dice.
Right wing spin from Day Reeves gets him open and gets him able to make a mid-range jumper. What a play from Day Reeves. Dockery in the lane, left to right crossover, gets to the rim, doesn't score, but the second chance goes in. It was Nas Hart on the second chance, the freshman. Next man up for the Explorers. 16-10 lead for LaSalle. Day Reeves working on the right wing. He's fouled on the floor. It's Jaden Johnson. 16-10 LaSalle lead, 13.5 to go in this first half.
And Chris, LaSalle's been kind of historically bad offensively, efficiency-wise, in their last 8 or so games, but one remaining strength for them is their offensive rebounding. That's also a strength for Fordham, but how about LaSalle up 5-2 on the offensive glass so far and converting them into second chance points? They have 8 second chance points. That's half of their points coming off of O boards.
Marcus Green plays it up top. Day Reeves. 6-point deficit for the Rams. Reeves, crossover right to left, middle of the lane, scores on an up and under layup at the rim. Day magic down the stretch of this first half. It's now a 4-point deficit for the Rams.
Fordham showing that 2-3 look. I think the first time today we've seen that.
It's Eric Acker playing it to Dockery. Dockery right through the middle of the lane and through the middle of the chest of Rikus Schulte, finishing at the rim. LaSalle hangs on to their 6-point lead. Just under 13 minutes to go in the first. Reeves getting picked up on a double team to Jacobs, top of the arc. Jacobs in the right corner, a core catching fire, no good, off right side of rim. Schulte there on the second chance, O-board for the Rams. Right wing spin and a sky hook attempt ends up being a foul. He'll go to the line for 2. It was Nazhart on the foul, and Schulte with a chance at the line. Can be a substitution for the Rams as well. Abbas Bodija and Louis Lesmond on the scorers table. They'll sub in for the Rams.
Schulte has the second best offensive rating on this team, the best defensive rating, but he's kind of struggled a little defensively earlier. That you put him in the middle of that 2-3 zone. When you have a guy as aggressive as Rob Dockery, we saw that last possession, he gets a touch at the nail, he's just going to go right at you, body to body. It's going to be who's the stronger guy. That's the person that's going to win in that scenario. So far, Schulte's been bodied a little bit inside, has been beaten on the offensive glass, but on the offensive end, 2 offensive rebounds early. One creates a wide open Marcus Green 3. He's not able to make it. The second one draws a foul. He gets to the line.
Rikus Schulte, 8.9 rebounds per game as well. That's second. That's good enough for second in the A-10, one of the best in the country. Schulte good on the second free throw. 18-14. Fordham deficit, 12:43 to go in this first half. It'll be Acker in the backcourt to inbound. A full court press coming from the Fordham Rams. Rikus Schulte subbing out of this one along with Akira Jacobs. It'll be Akor, Henry, Lesmond, Green, and Bodija. Acker, right corner. That 3 from Walker. It's good! Acker with the presence of mind to kick it out to Walker, and he did the rest. Now a 7-point lead for LaSalle. 21-14. Fordham with the ball on the right wing. Henry, dribble handoff to Akor. Akor to Marcus Green, right corner. Back up top. Christian Henry. Henry getting picked up on a double team. Pass to Marcus Green. Cross court to Louis Lesmond. He has it on the left wing. Tries to shake his defender. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now settles into the right post. Goes all the way around the paint. Doesn't get the shot to go at the rim. The second chance from Bodija is good. Fordham continuing to fight under the basket. And they get something out of it. Abbas Bodija under the rim. He gets Fordham back within 5.
Badly needed bucket, Chris, from Bodija.
21-16 LaSalle lead, 11:46 to go in this first half. An array of passes ends up with Acker, left corner, his 3, no good. Defensive rebound brought down by Lesmond.
It's impressive to see how well LaSalle is abusing these miscommunications from Fordham or the over-aggression. That time doesn't get a conversion off of it.
It's now Fordham trying to work offensively. Bodija in the right post, backing over his defender. Shot at the rim, no good off back iron. Bodija wanted it to be Fordham ball. It's going to be LaSalle ball, and it'll be LaSalle ball coming out of the media timeout. 11:22 to go in this first half. A 21-16 LaSalle lead over the traveling Fordham Rams. We'll be back with the rest of first half action, but first we're going to send it to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Abby Cristofaro. Take it away, Abby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The NHL trade deadline is just 2 days away in what has already been a trade-heavy season. For the New York Rangers, Vincent Trocheck is expected to make a move, but with 3 years left on his contract, Trocheck has a 12-team no-trade list keeping him away from the West Coast. Over on Long Island, Connor Garland is rumored to be making his way to the Isles. After signing a 6-year extension last year with the Canucks, he's seen Vancouver phase into rebuilding, giving the Isles a good opportunity to bid for the forward player. In New Jersey, not too much trade news, but they are 2-2 on post-Olympic games and are matched against Toronto at The Rock tonight at 7 p.m. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Abby Cristofaro.
Back here at John E. Glazer Arena, the home of the LaSalle Explorers. Appreciate Abby on the first update of our game so far this evening, giving us some hockey updates, including Vincent Trocheck maybe making a move out of New York a guy who's been there for a long time, saw success with the Rangers, and now maybe going to get phased out along with this new era of Ranger hockey in New York.
And speaking of new era, Chris, me and Abby, we go way back. Good friends in middle school. Went to middle school, high school together, go to college together.
Shout out your town.
Down at Duxbury, Massachusetts.
Shout out Duxbury,
That's a hockey town, right?
Yeah, yes.
But in the transfer portal era, how rare is it that you have two folks at FUV that have been friends for 8+ years, maybe 10. And that's the story of the season for both of these teams. LaSalle returns just one player this year, and Eric Acker. And Fordham, on the other hand, only returned Ryan Pettis, Kingston Price, and the walk-ons. Ryan Pettis hasn't been traveling with the team after sustaining a concussion. Kingston Price, fringe rotation. Frankly, both of these teams brand new this year. That's college basketball in a nutshell.
I'm almost stunned at just how you got all that to come together and be one. None of it seemed forced either.
If you need to shout out the hometown, the best friend, you got to have something to tie it back in.
Duxbury is one of the better names of towns.
You'd be surprised in Massachusetts. A lot of you got Braintree, you got Situate, you got
the high school
Bridgewater.
has to be Ducks, right? The Duxbury Ducks.
Dragons.
I mean, that seems like a missed opportunity.
Dragons pretty good.
And also, as you briefly mentioned there, the transfer portal hit FUV hard. That after the transfer portal, I'm not sure WFUV has been the same. Nonetheless, LaSalle with a 21-16 lead over the Fordham Rams in this men's A10 basketball action. Just a few games away from A10 tourney time next week in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 11:22 on the first half clock. It'll be LaSalle inbounding it in the backcourt. No press from the Fordham Rams. It'll be Kingston Price out there for the Fordham Rams. Him and Christian Henry will make up the backcourt for Fordham.
And Chris, Fordham staying in the 2-3 zone. Hasn't really worked so far.
Johnson playing in the left corner to Acker. Acker spinning, taking a mid-range jumper, swirling around the rim and going in. Some toilet bowl action on the rim, but it went in nonetheless. LaSalle bringing their lead out now to 7. 23-16, 10:58 to go in this first half. Lesmond fired a pass inside, right block. Henry backing down his defender, posting him up, spinning right, trying to go baseline, now stopped. Looking for a pass, finds Bodija. Dribble handoff, Lesmond. Lesmond sprinting to the right corner, back out to Bodija. Bodija plays it to Henry, his ball handler, top of the arc, straight on three. No good off back iron. Rebound brought down. It's Walker the freshman. He's in transition with speed. A right spin on the right wing. Back out Johnson. Extra pass, left corner, Acker three. No good at the rim. Off the left side of the rim, Fordham's moving with speed. Christian Henry sprinting to the paint, stopping in the middle of the paint. Pass to a sprinting Akor who finishes at the rim. Great presence of mind there from Christian Henry, and a wonky play ends up in points for the Fordham Rams. A 5-point lead for LaSalle now.
A little jump stop action from Chris Henry. Maybe the feet shuffled, good 1-2 feet on that, but no call. End up making the right play, finding Akor.
10 minutes to go in the first half. A spin, a score, and a foul. Edwin Daniel, the Washington Heights native, getting it going for the LaSalle offense. And one plus the foul. 25-18 lead for LaSalle, 19:52 in the first. The guy who grew up not too far away from Fordham University in the Heights.
It's pretty surreal what we're seeing, Chris, because this LaSalle team against Fordham 5 weeks ago, they didn't score in the last 6 minutes of the game. That's how they lost that one. They're 1-7 since then. Their offense ranks worst in the conference during that span. Fordham's defense ranks best in the conference during that span. LaSalle has reached 70 points just once in their last 10 games. That game was a 27-point loss, Chris. We've never seen their offense look the way it's looking right now.
26-18 lead for LaSalle after the free throw make, 9:42 in the first. There's Edwin Daniel on the free throw. Kingston Price driving baseline into Rika Schulte. Schulte no good on the hook shot, but the putback is good. Not even sure if that might have been invertent, Joe.
Yeah, it looked like he was just tipping to battle for possession and ended up batting it off of the backboard and back in.
Now a 6-point lead for LaSalle. Jaden Johnson, top of the arc, going left around a screen, guarded by Kingston Price. Kingston Price steals the ball. Got him to cough it up, and now he's running in transition. Price to Akira Jacobs, straight on three, no good. Ball goes out of bounds on the baseline. It'll be out of bounds, and Explorers ball. Fordham building some momentum, just couldn't quite bring it to a crescendo there, Joe.
And that would have been a big momentum shifter because Akira Jacobs has been hot the last several games overall. And in practice yesterday, he effectively could not miss, but the corner and the wings, catch and shoots more his deal. For him to be a trailer three in transition there, that's not really a shot he's used to.
Johnson, pass inside, a finish at the rim, plus the foul. Josiah Harris once again getting to the rim with physicality and scoring. He's missed 3 of their last 7 games, returning against Davidson, and in this one making a big impact early.
Yeah, Chris, I believe that's the 3rd and 1 of the day for LaSalle already. This is going to be their 9th free throw. They've hit all of them.
A struggle for Fordham all season long has been one of the things powering LaSalle so far this evening. As Joe said, 8 for 8 at the line. The Explorers getting it done with what they call the points that they give you. Shai Harris at the line. Makes the free throw. LaSalle now 9 for 9 from the line after the Wilmington, Delaware native made his free throw. It's Christian Henry, dribble handoff to Rory Core. Fordham trying to operate offensively. It's now a 9-point deficit for the Rams, the largest they've faced all night. Henry, top of the arc, looking for some off-ball movement. Finds Kingston Price, left wing. Price trying to break down his defender to Schulte. Schulte has it on the right post, backing down Harris. Skyhook middle of the lane, it goes off front rim and in, and Schulte with a much-needed bucket for the Rams. Day-Day Reeves with his behind on the hardwood, sitting on the scorer's table, waiting for his substitution. Acker, top of the arc to Josiah Harris. Harris dribble handoff to Johnson. Johnson left wing. Jaden Johnson cross-court pass to Acker. Acker pump fake, right to left crossover, gets in the middle of the lane. No good on the hop-step layup, and it'll be Rikas Schulte bringing down the defensive rebound. He's running in transition by himself. Dump-off pass to Lesmond. He can't finish at the rim. After the beautiful Euro step from Schulte, Lesmond couldn't finish it. It's the freshman, Walker, in the right post. Inside to Harris. Beautiful pass and beautiful finish from Josiah Harris. Great play all around from the LaSalle offense. And Fordham, a team who's trending in the direction of momentum, just can't quite get it to come through.
Just so impressive what we're seeing from LaSalle. They've put, 10 guys into the game? 9 of them have scored. Ashton Walker has 9, Josiah Harris has 5. Other than that, everyone's got 2 or 3 points, but everyone's in on the action. And a LaSalle team that has taken 7 threes so far, 2 for 7. They don't shoot a lot of threes, especially with their front court short, and now their top shooters out in Brewer and Marshall. You can expect them to be an inside-out kind of team if they're going to create threes. What we've seen so far is against this 2-3 zone, getting the ball in at the free throw line and then working the high-low game and just living on the inside. Physicality, that's an advantage for LaSalle. Fordham, not a super physical team defensively, very sound. They don't typically foul a lot, but LaSalle has sought out that contact, and they have thrived because of it.
Fordham Rams trailing the LaSalle Explorers 31-22, 7:38 to go in the half. We'll take a little break. LaSalle shooting the ball efficiently, 47% from the field, and as we said, 9 for 9 at the line. You're listening to Fordham Men's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Here at John E. Glazer Arena in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Chris Carrino joined by Joe Henry. It's a 31-22 deficit for the Fordham Rams over the hosting LaSalle Explorers. 7:38 to go in this what has been a tumultuous first half. LaSalle Explorers in their home white with yellow trim. Fordham Rams in their road maroon with white letters and numbers. Fordham Rams going left to right. LaSalle Explorers going right to left. Joe Henry, it has been a perplexing start for the Rams. LaSalle straight up kind of outplaying this Fordham team so far.
It's really hard to think of it any other way, but you want to try and figure out an exact reason why. How about team basketball? This team's going 10 deep. That's pretty much the only 10 guys they have, in addition to a walk-on and a fringe rotation guy, Max Lepakis. So this is your team. You're playing all of them, and you're getting contributions from every single player that has checked into this game. Now, 16 bench points to Fordham's 3. It feels like no matter who's on the floor personnel-wise, this LaSalle team is ready to fight against this 2-3 zone, to probe inside, and just take the looks that they're given by Fordham.
8 LaSalle players in the scoring column as well. Fordham trying to get in the scoring column. Kingston Price, right wing 3, no good off back iron. Fordham trying to secure the second chance. They can't. Louis Lesmont spilling out into the crowd, almost landing on a grandmother there. A relatively elderly woman in the corner of the crowd, almost getting stampeded by the Harvard transfer, the former Harvard Defensive Player of the Year. Louis showing only the character we've come to expect from this team, giving her an apology and saying sorry. Johnson driving right through the left side of the lane and scoring at the rim. Almost no trouble and no stopping from the Fordham defense at all. Fordham now trailing by double digits. It's 11, 33, 22, 6:55 to go in this first half. Lesmont, quick pass inside to Schulte, finishing at the rim with heavy contact. Should have been a foul, it wasn't. Johnson back out to Dockery. Dockery top of the arc, and it's a technical foul. Coach Mike Magpayo is turned up. Coach Mike Magpayo in jeopardy of possibly getting a second technical now here too. And he's thrown out. Oh, wow. That's a quick second technical, and Coach Mike Magpayo is out of here. Day Reeves trying to hold him back at center court. And for a guy who's as reserved and calm as you like, he is fired up. Rikus Schulte receiving about as much contact on a play that isn't called a foul as I've ever seen. Yep. And Coach Mike Magpayo matching that level of upsetness.
Chris, is it fitting that a day ago Mike Magpayo was nominated as a finalist for the Prosser Award, recognizing a man of great integrity, coaching in college basketball? The day after, he's not only picking up his first ever technical foul as a member of the Fordham Rams, but getting ejected in the first half in quick succession. We've never seen a Mike Magpayo this mad.
And Joe, am I wrong to say he had a right to be?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. And I will say,
Dockery good on the first technical free throw.
After he got ejected, I mean, he was, if Day Reeves wasn't holding him back, he was getting to that official.
Day Reeves was. Joe, think about this logically. Day Reeves, he's been thrown out already. Day Reeves doesn't really need to hold him back. I think Day was afraid he was going to physically hurt him or physically try to assault him in some way. That's how turned up Coach Mike Magpayo was.
Don't think of Magpayo as a guy who would do that, but even, I mean, he was seeking the referee out. He was pointing to him, speaking viscerally. I mean, that is a crazy, crazy scene. I mean, you saw the LaSalle bench was shocked in excitement.
Yeah, I mean, that is as exciting and as unpredictable of a moment as we've had all season long. Dockery making the free throw. It's now a 13-point lead for LaSalle, 37-24. And the Fordham Rams without a coach and a 13-point deficit to work on.
Could this be a rallying point, though, Chris?
I was just about to allude to that. Walker in the right corner, fakes the three, gets inside, now picked up on a triple team. Johnson receives it on the pass in the left corner, and it's going to be an offensive foul. Kingston Price taking the plunge on the charge, and the Fordham bench is turned up.
Really big, but that's the first play that happens after your coach gets ejected. The 10th guy who barely gets any minutes, the smallest guy on the floor, gets in the paint, draws a charge. That'll fire you up if ejecting a coach didn't. By the way, Chris, looks like Troy Hamill is going to step in as the head coach with Magpayo out. Wondered what the line of succession would be like.
Yeah, Coach Troy Hamill, not a traditional associate head coach of this team, more of a job done by committee and with the assistant coaches. So Troy Hamill will be the guy walking the baseline. It's in the right corner. Aurora Core almost missing the rim entirely. And LaSalle getting the ball offensively once again. Troy Hamill on the sideline, the former Merrimack 1,000-point scorer, as Coach Kevin Smith, along with Coach Derek Phelps and Coach Ryan Heinlein next to him. They'll try to do the rest of the job. Ball poked away. Kingston Price on the ground, trying to grab it. It'll stay LaSalle ball. Even with the hustle from Price, it'll stay in the possession of the Explorers. Fordham showing some fight here after the coach ejection.
It's pretty cool to see, Chris. You got 3 coaches standing up pretty much at all times between Hamill, Smith, Phelps, even Highland right behind him. For Hamill, you'd have to imagine this is his first time ever being the head coach active at the college basketball level. I mean, he was with Mac Pio at UC Riverside prior. I'm not sure he was the lead assistant there. Not sure if Mac Pio was ever ejected from a game.
Dockery left wing mid-ranger is good for the Explorers. They continue to expand their lead. It's now 15, 39, 24, 5:35 to go in this first half. Now Ryan Highland, to my knowledge, the only guy in that assistant coaching staff with head coaching experience. He came
You're right.
from John Jay. He was their head coach at the time at all 3 levels of college basketball, the youngest head coach in the country. Roar Core, left wing 3, no good, off back iron. A fight from Rika Schulte ends up in nothing. It's Dockery on the defensive rebound. Explorers going to try to expand a 15-point lead.
Chris, due to my research, Mac Pio's been ejected once before in 2023.
Dockery spinning right in the right post. No good on the shot, but a foul on the shot. And Dockery will go to the line for 2. LaSalle continuing to use the free throw line as a major asset to their game. Now 13 for 13 from the charity stripe. Joe, you can be 2 for 7 from the three-point line if you're going to be 13 for 13 from the line.
I have to respect LaSalle living by its strengths today. They're not trying to shoot you out of the building because the three-point shot has been a real struggle all season, frankly, but in the last 9 games especially, it's been dismal. But Rob Dockery, I mean, he looks the part of a guy who's going to lead you on the inside. He's 6'6", but he's a big 6'6", and we've talked about it, the exact player that Fordham has been unable to guard all year. Think about Josh Scovins on Davidson. Think about Jordan Durkak on Dayton. Think about all the wings that have given Fordham trouble. And no surprise that he's the guy leading the charge for LaSalle.
No good on the second free throw. Dockery splits a pair. 40-24, 16-point lead for LaSalle. Christian Henry out of the right wing, trying to get something going for the Fordham offense. Henry going left around a Schulte screen. Finds Schulte rolling. Right corner pass. A core. Extra pass to Day Reeves. His 3 is good. Right wing 3 for Day. And the guy that's always there when they need it gets it done. A now 13-point lead for LaSalle. 4.5 to go in the first half. Acker has the top of the arc. Looking for off-ball movement. Finds Walker. Right wing. Back to Acker. Back to Walker. He'll take a right wing 3. No good. Offside rim. Ball batted out by a core to Acker. He'll make the jumper. A core by accident, kicking it out to a LaSalle player who converts. Explorers back out to a 15-point lead. Henry gets it across half court to a core. A core back to Christian Henry, right wing. Henry going left around a screen. Now gets picked up on a double team. To Schulte, down low, spinning, left-handed hook is good. Schulte continuing the really efficient post work, and he has Fordham back within 13.
Chris, Schulte and Reeves combining for 20 of Fordham's 27 points so far.
Now Dockery, right wing, pass inside. Daniel spinning right, puts up a hook, no good. Putback is good. Nas Hart, volleyball hitting it into the rim. And LaSalle continuing to perpetuate that 15-point lead. It's 44-29, 13-18 in this first half. Schulte faking the dribble handoff, gets it to Reeves. Reeves, top of the arc, faking right, going left. Still has the ball. Top of the arc, gets picked up on a double team. Cross-court pass, Henry, right corner 3. No good, off right side of rim, batted out to Reeves. Reeves pump fake at the three-point line, and a foul on the reach-in. The sprinting and defending Ashton Walker fouling the driving Day Reeves, and that'll be a foul. Also, immediate timeout immediately preceding the foul. 14-29, LaSalle lead, 3 minutes exactly to go in this first half. We'll have the rest of first half action, but first we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for another one-on-one scoreboard update with Abby Cristofaro. Take it away, Abby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
After the Olympics, the Professional Women's Hockey League is booming. The Seattle Torrent broke the all-time U.S. attendance record, showing strong signs for the growth of the league. After loss to the Toronto Scepters, the Torrent will take on the Ottawa Charge tonight at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, it's the Boston Fleet versus the New York Sirens. The Fleet having won both of their previous season matchups. The Sirens, looking for a win, they have not seen one since mid-January, but that does include the Olympic break. The Ottawa Charge then comes down to New York for a Sunday daytime game against the Sirens. New York looking for revenge from their last matchup. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Abby Cristofaro.
A fiery scene here at the John E. Glazer Arena, the home of the LaSalle Explorers. The Explorers up 44-29, 3 minutes to go in this first half. The reason I allude to the tumultuous nature of the game this evening, a few minutes ago in this first half, Coach Mike Magpayo not only picking up his first technical of his Fordham career, also picking up his first ejection of his Fordham career, second ejection of his head coaching career. A fiery moment, Joe, not only for Coach Mike Magpayo, but for the Fordham Rams as well.
We've heard Mike Magpayo 3 times this year in the pregame say, I'm going to try and get a tech today. Because for him, that's a legitimate strategy to fire up this team. Because this team, look, they really care. They're really in it. They're bonded as a group. But they're not the most fiery bunch. They're actually really, really sweet and kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Could this be the kind of momentum-shifting moment for this team? Credit to LaSalle. After that, they've seized the momentum. They've been offensively super strong the whole way through, but especially since Magpayo was ejected. Fordham's offense has picked up significantly too. The question, final 3 minutes, a time that's really to decide games all year for Fordham. Are you going to finish the first half strong, or are you going to fade away? Oftentimes the case has been when Fordham is leading at the end of the first half, they take their foot off the gas and squander what could have been a double-digit advantage. But when they're losing, they make a push and get closer. That's kind of what we saw against LaSalle 5 weeks ago. LaSalle, remember, had a 10-point first-half lead in that game and in the Bronx. Now a 15-point first-half lead, so not totally uncharted territory here for Fordham, but you have to ace these 3 minutes before you get to the locker room.
And Joe, if you're like LaSalle, over 50% from the field in a half and 14 for 15 from the line in a half, you put yourself in a really good position. It'll be Akira Jacobs inbounding in the front court for the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams in the half-court offense. Christian Henry, top of the arc. Guarded by Strand. Pass to Day Reeves. Right wing, guarded tightly by Acker. In Ant 2s, bright pink Ant 2s. An Adidas school here at LaSalle. Christian Henry, right wing, pass quick to Day Reeves. He takes a quick 3 at the end of the shot clock. No good, but he gets his own rebound. Like the kid more dominant over everyone else in the playground. He's all over the place. Schulte no good on his shot after the pass from Reeves, and Fordham will squander the offensive opportunity. Still a 15-point lead for LaSalle. They're trying to make it more. Dockery driving right baseline. Shot at the rim, up and under is good. A reverse on the right side of the rim and a finish on the left side. Great work there from Dockery. And now 17-point lead for LaSalle. Biggest of the evening. 2:08 to go in this first half. Akira Jacobs' 3 is good. Jacobs wide open on the left wing, and he gets that one to go. There's a bit of a shoe issue. Ashton Walker losing his shoe on that play. A brief stoppage in play, and we'll continue in a second. It's me bringing up the shoes, Joe. That was the jinx, causing Ashton Walker to have a bit of an equipment issue. He actually blew out the front of his shoe. He's in front of us here, running in the tunnel directly under us. He blew out the whole front of his shoe. Not a great advertisement for Adidas basketball, Joe. He's Zion Williamson, his shoe. That happened in a North Carolina game at Cameron Indoor that North Carolina won, for the record. Acker, top of the arc to Dockery on the right wing, driving inside, and blocked by Day Reeves. Reeves coming for help on the double team and absolutely rejecting the much bigger Dockery. It's now Christian Henry, right wing. Pass up top, back to Day Reeves. Reeves working with a 14-point deficit. It's going to be a foul off the ball. That one on Acker, Eric Acker. A very confused Eric Acker, might I add. About as confused as I've seen a player ever look. He's called on the foul on the right block, and it's going to be inbounded by Christian Henry in a similar spot on the left baseline.
He's called for a hold on Akira Jacobs, who wasn't really involved in the play, Chris.
Jacobs gets it up top to Schulte. Schulte gets it to Henry. Henry guarded tightly by Acker. Now drifting over to the right wing, going left around the screen. Pass right corner, a core 3. It's good. Nothing but nylon for the true freshman. He has Fordham back within 11, 46-35, 1:15 on this first clock.
What does Mike Magpayo always say about this 18-year-old? He's fearless. 0 for his first 4 from 3. No hesitation on the 5th.
And Strand no good on the right wing 3. It's an over-the-back call on LaSalle. That one inflicting on Christian Henry. And this one will go the other way. Now 1-and-1 opportunity for the Fordham Rams. A lot of fouls for LaSalle. The whistle, I can't ignore this. The whistle has improved since Coach Mike Magpaio's ejection.
It's improved measurably. I will say I haven't seen any call that I'm like, oh, wow, I'm surprised Fordham got that call.
Sure.
I think they're all correct, but the LaSalle fouls are being called.
Christian Henry now at the line for 2. That Roracore 3 reminded me, Coach Mike Magpaio is somewhere just absolutely losing his mind in front of a television set. Good on the first for Christian Henry. Christian Henry struggling at the line all year long. It's been the Achilles heel of his game. He's shooting 56% from the line on the year, 66 for 118. Good on his first. Fordham within 10. Good on the second as well. Great sign for the Rams. 46-37, LaSalle lead. Fordham back within single digits. 1 minute even to go in the first. Walker, top of the arc, pass on the right wing. Acker backing it up a little bit. Quick pass inside, intercepted by Schulte. Fordham now with the chance offensively. A pass to Christian Henry, he fumbles the ball. Henry gives it up to Damon Strand. Now LaSalle going the other way. Ashton Walker stopping at the free throw line and shooting an air ball. Kira Jacobs got the defensive rebound and gets it to Christian Henry. Christian Henry will get it across half court after almost losing it. Henry now in the smack dab middle of the LaSalle logo. Gives it to Day Reeves. Reeves going left around a Schulte screen. Driving through the left side of the lane. At the rim, no good. Schulte's second chance, no good. And now 12 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock shut off. LaSalle with the final chance of the half. 9-point lead to work on. They'll call a timeout to draw up a final play. 8 seconds even on the game clock of this first half. 46-37, LaSalle lead. Joe?
Well, Chris, an 8-0 run last 2:07, exactly what you needed to get right back in this game, but a couple missed opportunities. You talked about Chris Henry losing it in transition. Wouldn't really blame him for that. Rika Schulte found him a little bit late, and Henry had no idea that there was a guy coming right behind him. Fordham calls those players wolves. Guys coming from behind, you can't see him. You have to try and call him out, make sure the ball handler doesn't lose the ball in that situation, and then coming down, kind of similar situation here. Need one stop. You can't have this momentum-shifting, last-second buzzer-beating basket to tie it into something we saw earlier today. Lala Nienkin for Fordham women's basketball hitting a buzzer beater at the end of the first half, kind of gave them life going into the second half to give them a chance. Now Fordham would end up losing that game to St. Louis, but it speaks to how a last-second shot at the end of the half, even if it doesn't seem like it dramatically shifts the difference between scores, can really go a long way momentum-wise.
Love a nice women's and men's tie-in as well. 7 seconds on the game clock. Walker, top of the arc. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. Walker, right wing three, wide open. No good. Off the left side of the rim. And that's how the half will finish. A nice spurt at the end of the half to really get Fordham back in a competitive space. They trail by 9. 46-37 going into the locker room. As you briefly mentioned there as well, Fordham Rams losing 68-60 to the 11 seed St. Louis Billikens earlier today. We'll see if the men will have some more success this evening.
And Chris, if you want one reason why things have shifted a little bit last 2 minutes, how about the three-point shooting? Fordham hitting 3 of its last 4 tries here at the end of the first half. They're just 4 of 15 overall, but they had been just 1 of 11. And that's important because this LaSalle team, the three-point defense has been a really big X factor, because in the 2 games that they've been closest, 1 a win, 1 a close loss, and their last 10 games in which in their last 9 in which they're 1-8, that's their 2 best defensive performances against the 3. But in every single other game, they're allowing teams to shoot a combined 40%. In those 2 games that they won in the close loss, 5 for 38 were their opponents from distance. So when LaSalle is able to defend the 3, they have a lot more success when they can't. That means for a Fordham team that really struggles to shoot the 3, they're 8th worst in the country in three-point percentage. Really critical, then you hit on your makes, because LaSalle will give you open shots. We've seen that so far today. Fordham starting to convert and starting to get closer on the scoreboard.
Fordham Rams, as you said, getting closer on the scoreboard. They trail 46-37. It's a 9-point deficit heading into the locker room, of course. Leading the Fordham Rams, not actually who you'd expect. Day Reeves, who you'd usually expect with 10. Rika Schulte with 12 in that first half. He was fantastic, especially on the boards. We're going to send it. Of course, we'll have second half action from Philadelphia. But first, we're going to send it to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one halftime show, who we've heard from throughout this evening, Abby Cristofaro, and our host, the one we love so much, Nathan Rogers. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome back into the historic Rose Hill studio. It's 46-37, all LaSalle Explorers so far, but Fordham Rams itching their way back. It's a 9-point deficit after being down by 15 with about 8 minutes remaining. They ended off with a nice 8-0 run in the last few minutes, hitting 3 of their last 4 three-pointer shots. Nathan Rogers here with Abby Christopher to break down everything from the first half. The goals of this game so far were you can't let LaSalle get to the line too easy. They weren't doing that so well, the Fordham Rams were, in those first 10 minutes, but they really got defensively tight. And then obviously Mike McPile with his first Fordham tech, he got double teed with about 5 minutes remaining. His first ejection as the skipper of Fordham and his second all-time in his career. I mean, he's like Chris said on the broadcast, he's probably in there just like absolutely losing his mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening, and then all of a sudden I was really locked in. I was like, what's going on? I think it being the second of his career really shows like how this game was going for them. But, I mean, Joe was talking about how his discussions with him and how he said, I'm going to try to get a tech today, joking, obviously. But that kind of energy shift that Fordham needs to see, because they're 4-15 overall on three throws, but they just hit the last 3. So, in the last 3 minutes. So,
Yeah, and forcing tough shots against LaSalle so far is pretty rough. Like they have 4 or 5 players out: Justin Archer, Jaden Marshall, Noah Collier, and number 11, 24, and 25 as well. So they got around 5 or 6 guys that are out, and they've been really struggling with injuries and sicknesses throughout the whole entire A10 conference play. LaSalle's the worst ranked offense in the A10, and Fordham's just been allowing them to really get hot. About 9 of their 10 guys that they've been letting on the floor have more than 3 points, and everyone's really it's been strength in numbers so far for the Explorers.
Yeah, any player that's been on the court for over 5 minutes for LaSalle has 3 or more points, and the numbers, that's very few of them that have only 3. That's kind of, Fordham isn't seeing that same cohesion that LaSalle is, and LaSalle's obviously playing pretty great their first half, when I'm sure Fordham wasn't expecting them to do that, and that can always be a kind of morale boost in the first half, especially when they scored first. So I just think that Fordham isn't seeing what they need to see from certain players. Christian Henry has 2 points. He does have 4 assists, or maybe more now, and that's where we've seen him thrive and for the team really be the game changer. But
yeah,
I think that you do need to score a couple more points in the first half if you're trying to play against a team where pretty much all of their players that have played have scored more than 3 points.
Yeah, for sure. Christian Henry, 2, he's 0 for 4 from the field, only points coming from those free throws, so he's 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. He had 0 points last time out against VCU. They really needed him as point guard in that first half, but then he really found his spark in that second half that really sparked that 10-0 run against VCU. Again, he also sparked that 17-2 run against St. Joe's on the road last time around as well. So this team has seen deficits at halftime. They're down by a lot against SLU. They ended up losing that game, but even against Davidson, they had to come back. St. Joe's, we just mentioned on that 17-2 run, and it's really fueled by Christian Henry, but also Day-Day and Schulte too. And Schulte, how about him? He's having that game, and he should have got fouled on that play. That kind of really got Mike McPile going.
Yeah, he's been playing amazing as well as Day-Day Reason. But one more thing I was going to say about Christian Henry is that he has a problem with being fouled a lot, and he only has 1 personal foul, which obviously you want to keep that minimal, but I think that they are kind of finding that groove that they need to kind of not get them to the line, LaSalle. So yeah, but Rika Schulte, 12 points, 17 minutes, more than Day-Day Reeves. Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think Schulte's playing really well, and I think something of note, Schulte's really good offensively. He's, that's what brought him to UC Riverside and brought him back to Fordham. He's a product of Mike McPile, and he's top 15 in the country in offensive rebounding. I think he's 12
6 right now.
Yeah, he's just great offensively, but also he's really good defensively. Going back to the Bonnie's game, Frank Mitchell, who Drew Joyce said is the best offensive rebounder in the country, Schulte really shut him down. He only had like 3 total rebounds in that game. Today, Rob Dockery's also top 10 or top 15 in the A10 in offensive rebounding and rebounding in general. He only has 1 rebound so far. So they're really doing well cleaning up the glass and, owning the paint. and really just cleaning up the glass and helping. You got to help Day out. It's like when you watch a movie, you only see one actor really out there. You got to have a supporting cast, right?
And I think that it really is where LaSalle is kind of pulling ahead, because just looking at their stats, the numbers are so varied. You have Rob Dockery with 13. You have Ashton Walker with 9. Where you go over back to the Rams, you have Day Reeves with 10, Rika Schulte with 12. Then you have Christian Henry with 2. And it's not as you're relying on 2 guys basically if you can't count on Christian Henry to get those points. But LaSalle doesn't have to do that. They don't have to tire out, and I think that's how they're ahead. I'm glad Fordham's only down by 9 now, not 15 anymore. But they definitely need to get more people playing the game.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think what's going to hurt LaSalle down the stretch is that playing 9 guys is something that is you got to if you're the head coach of LaSalle now, you're thinking, do I play 8 guys down the stretch? Do I play 7? Or do I just stick to my 5 really and just have a 6-man? So I don't know what that rotation is going to look like down the stretch, and that might end up actually hurting them because Fordham really knows who they can rely on and knows who they want the ball at the end. But like Joe Henry said on the broadcast, this game, I don't know if Fordham can afford having the last 20 seconds they need a shot. They need 1-800 call Day. I don't think that's something that, obviously Mike McPowell's not coaching the game anymore. No. But if you're Troy Hamill, you really, the line of succession, you're now coaching, and you got Highland out there as well. Like, you're thinking, we need to get out of the gate hot for that second half and really just hit it running.
Yeah, you need that foot on the gas or you're just going to fall behind. And also, looking at minutes played for both teams overall as well, LaSalle has more variety. They're pretty similar, both for the Rams and LaSalle, but it's just they have more people who are performing well, and it's just taking a little bit stress off someone like Day Reeves or Rika Schulte.
Yeah, and I think, especially down the stretch, too, something of note, for the last, 4 minutes of the first half, Fordham really took the lid off the basket, 8-0 run in the last 2.5 minutes, really connected from beyond the arc, and LaSalle went scoreless. And, they were 1 of 5 in their last 5 shots. And, freshman Ashton Walker, who's played the lights out in the first 10 minutes, he kind of cooled down a little bit. It was kind of the Dockery show from then on. But, I think Fordham's kind of figuring out what LaSalle is going to really lean on. And I don't think they were expecting Ashton Walker to go out there and, tear up the defense. But, again, Fordham's defense is number 1 scoring the A-10 and top 15 in the country in scoring defense. So, which is a legit stat. I know, like, A-10, you're not really playing, the best teams, but like
the groundwork's there. The building blocks are there. It just needs to get done. What was I gonna say? I feel like, we said that they've kind of figured out what they need to do. Do you think that has anything to do with Magpio being, like, just the team getting fired up? And even if you're LaSalle, you seeing the other coach. I know that Joe or Chris was saying that the team looked a little confused as well, the other team. So I don't know. I think that's probably where it came from, and they just needed to put everything into gear. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm attributing the sudden shift to.
Yeah, and I think so. I think so too. And being an athlete myself too, if I see my coach on the sideline getting, yelling at the ref, really in it, really he's really passionate.
Yeah.
Of course, like Ergo was the last coach, and they cleaned house from that. But he would always be into getting the fans hype, and so was McPio.
Yeah.
And so even on the road for him to do that, and he was probably looking at the scoreboard and being like, we need to get fired up.
Yeah.
We're on the road. We need this win.
As we heard Joe say, they're a quieter team too. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And LaSalle's a really loud team, and teams like BCU, even Davidson, and Duquesne, they're really loud teams. For Fordham, they need that momentum, and for Mike McPio to come out like that. If they come out with a win, that's going to be a story. And, he was nominated for being that, like, inclusive, right?
Yeah.
Whatever award that was, the inclusivity award, and now he's just getting thrown out for a game. But with all things considered, that is going to do it for us here at the Rose Hill studio. You'll hear more from Abby with her updates periodically throughout the second half, and we will both be back in the mics for the post-game show after this one. Again, it is 46-37, all LaSalle Explorers against the Fordham Rams. We'll send it back to the city of brotherly love with Joe Henry and Chris Carrino for the second half of Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports after this short break. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, I'm Trey Rodriguez, calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. We're live every Saturday on YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later at night on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We cover the latest news in the sports world with our wide range of beat reporters, as well as exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes. We'll see you next Saturday on One-on-One.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace McCarran and I'm one of your 2025-26 New York Islanders beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow me on X at GraceMcCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content from the island all season long. From the development of first overall pick Matthew Schaefer to incredible saves by Ilya Sorokin, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Isles look towards the postseason. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Back here at John E. Glazer Arena, the home of the Explorers of LaSalle, celebrating a very special night tonight, a ceremony at halftime. The longtime legendary head coach of LaSalle basketball, William Speedy Morris, was the head coach here from 1984 to 2001. They had a massive ceremony at halftime. A lot of his former players, former coaches, a massive ordeal at halftime that shouldn't underscore what's been a pretty insane basketball game so far.
Absolutely. This might be the most points that LaSalle scored in the first half of a game in a really long time. It's been one of the worst offenses in the country of late. Their top two scorers are out, and yet 46 points against the A-10's best defense in the last 10 games. And for Fordham, it's pretty shocking to see. Yes, they gave up 82 to VCU, but VCU averages 83 per game, so a really, really good team, and Fordham was kind of due to have that one-off game. They were on the road, VCU's number 2 team in the conference, so you say, all right, flush that, let's see what happens against LaSalle, a team that you held to just 58 points and held scoreless the last 6 minutes the last time you guys played and got the win. 46-point explosion. The good news, Chris, Fordham's offense really got going after head coach Mike Magpie was ejected from this game, getting consecutive technical fouls and having to be forced off the floor. He was irate. First ejection as a member of the Fordham team. So yes, an action-packed first half. Fordham goes on an 8-0 run to close it out. It was 16, now it's a 9-point deficit, rather it was 17, now a 9-point deficit. Entering the second half, Fordham's come back from a deficit of that size before. You think about the Rhode Island game they were trailing. Against St. Joe's, they were losing by 10. They go on to win that game. So not uncharted territory for this team to be losing on the road and to still have a shot. Really curious to hear what happened in the locker room at halftime without your head coach and to see how it translates the first few minutes of the second half here.
And that was something I asked you. As you mentioned, Coach Mike Magpie ejected from the first half. A no call on Eureka Schulte layup that had a lot of contact, led to Coach Mike Magpie being as animated as we've seen him all season. Arguably the most animated he's been in his career, and that led to a really quick 2 technicals and an ejection. The thing I asked you, Joe, was, are they allowed to communicate with the team? Obviously, your common judgment, your common sense would have you think he's in the locker room, he's somewhere like that. That's where the team goes during halftime. But you did some research, Joe.
Yeah, and you're not allowed any direct or indirect contact, so you can't even be within sight or sound. So even if he doesn't talk, he can't be in the locker room. So I imagine he's on the team bus, or they've got him in a separate room. Not allowed to communicate at all, can't text, can't make phone calls with the team, cannot help the assistant coaches kind of figure out this situation.
We should go a little 3-man booth. You should just come up here with us.
Why? I mean, I'm not
Is there
sure.
a rule against that?
We'd have to have Sam Grande be very ready to hit the dump button, because I think there might be some expletives.
That's a fair point. That'd be fun if he just came up here, grabbed a headset. In the English Premier League, it is almost famous now with managers like Arsene Wenger, I think Pep Guardiola as well, to be ejected and then immediately walk up the stands, stand behind your bench in the stands in an almost satirical manner. We didn't get that from Mike McPile, but nonetheless, his team's out there offensively. Half starts, and it's some hand play under the rim with Josiah Harris and Rika Schulte leading to a foul. It's a reach in on Josiah Harris, and Rika Schulte will be the first victim of a foul this half. Second half starting off to a slow start. Christian Henry inbounding on the left side of the baseline under the basket. Henry gets it to Day Reeves, right corner, wide open, takes the 3 and hits. Day Reeves with a fantastic start for the Rams this half.
Just a huge shot from a guy who's made a lot of big shots this year. Now it feels like Fordham's really in this thing.
LaSalle with a 6-point lead, 19.5 to go. Josiah Harris under the rim finishes under heavy contact from Abbas Bodija. LaSalle continuing to perpetuate their lead. It's an 8-point lead. It's 19-20 to go in the second half. Bodija straight on 3. It goes! Back-to-back threes for the Rams to open the half. It's now a 5-point lead for LaSalle. 48-35, 19 to go in this half. We said it off camera. We said it off air, Joe. Fordham Rams are going to come out firing in this half, and so are LaSalle. Truth Harris with a 3. Now 4 possessions of offense in this half, 4 scores, including 3 threes. Abbas Bodija trying to get it under the basket to Rika Schulte. That one poked away out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rams in the half court.
Feels so inexplicable, Chris. These are 2 of the lowest scoring teams in the entire conference. Defense is what these teams hang their hats on, and it's been high efficiency offense the whole way through for both teams.
Schulte out of the right wing, backing down Harris, drifting into the middle of the lane. Left-handed hook goes. The offensive talents of Rika Schulte continue to shine this evening. He's now got 14. Top of the arc. Johnson dribble handoff to Harris, back to Johnson. Johnson tried to bounce pass to Josiah. It would be a kickball violation on the Rams. Schulte 14 points, 6 for 9 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. That skyhook has been working dividends this evening. Looks like Kareem.
Specifically, Chris, when he gets to his left hand moving towards the middle of the floor, he's money.
Off the inbound, Truth Harris, right corner 3, no good. And Schulte playing it ahead in transition to Day Reeves. Inside to Abbas Bodija, shoulder bumping his defender and then finishing at the rim. The wide frame of Abbas Bodija gets the Fordham Rams within 4 now. 51-47, 18 to go in the second half.
It's those contact drills, Chris, that's exactly what they've been working on. They have assistant coach Kevin Smith take a big kind of football type of guard and just whack the guys as they go up for a shot, and it's conditioned them to be better in those situations.
Dockery through the middle of the lane, rejected by Schulte. Good job of getting in the driving lane. Day Reeves now has it left corner. Fordham with a chance to make it single possession. Day Reeves out to Schulte, almost losing the ball. 51-47 LaSalle lead. 13:37 to go in the second half. Henry, top of the arc. Right to left crossover. Stops at the left elbow. Takes the jumper. No good. Swirling from left to right of the rim. And an offensive rebound gathered. Or rather a turnover. LaSalle had it, coughed it up. Fordham still now has it offensively. Henry deep on the right wing. Fiery pass inside to Schulte, who misses at the rim. Schulte wanted a foul, didn't get it. Johnson on the right wing now. Top of the key, guarded by the much bigger Schulte. Takes a 3, no good from straight on. Dockery on the offensive rebound and finish. LaSalle continuing to do work on the offensive glass. Fordham now trails by 6, 53-47, 16-49. Bodija, top of the arc, fakes the dribble handoff, has it at the right wing. Cross-court pass, Jacobs. Jacobs to Schulte. Schulte now on the left post, backing down his defender. Will we see the hook? We will. In the middle of the paint it goes. Rikus Schulte, automatic on the hook. He has Fordham within 4 once again, 53-49, 16-20 in the second half.
How about the right hand, Chris? They had a team meeting before the Davidson game when Fordham was 1-5 and had every guy write down a thing that they could do better offensively. And Rikus Schulte said, use my right hand more. He's finally starting to do it.
Johnson to Dockery. Dockery sprints the baseline, gets to the rim. No good on the shot at the rim, but he'll go to the line for 2. Very closely a 3-point play there for Dockery. And LaSalle continuing to be consistent on the offensive end. Fordham Rams definitely in the rearview mirror, and they're getting closer, maybe closer than they appear, Joe.
I get your reference, Chris.
Thank you.
It's just shocking. I mean, LaSalle, obviously, they get a lot of free throws. This is their 16th of the game. That one goes from Dockery. They're now 15-16. That's something else entirely. They're shooting over 90% from the free throw line. They only shoot 70% on the season, but Fordham, 61st in the country in free throw rate against. That means their opponents get to the line the 61st least of the 365 teams. So you'd think that this would be a game where there's not a lot of free throws taken, but it's been quite the opposite.
Impressive as always, Joe Henry.
It's going to be interesting to see, Chris, with Rikus Schulte coming out. I mean, he's been red hot, and he's been their glue on the glass where Fordham has otherwise kind of struggled. How will the team shake up with Bodija, Akor, and Jacobs tasked with the sole rebounding duties?
Dockery makes the second, 2 of 2 at the line. 55-49, LaSalle lead. 16:01 to go in this second half. Fordham trying to cut into the lead once again. Henry at the top of the arc, going right around a Bodija screen. Through the right side of the lane, body bump and finish at the rim. Flexing arms on the Fordham bench. And the Fordham offense with physicality. Offensively improving. And a steal, active hands at the top of the key. It's Day-Day Reeves on the steal and finish on the other end. Fordham Rams now within 2. Coach Smith and the rest of the Fordham bench amped up. 55-53 LaSalle lead. 15:35 to go in this second half. What a spurt to start this second half from the Fordham Rams, showing as much fight as their head coach, who was ejected in the first half.
Chris, it hasn't been this close since the 14:36 mark in the first half. It's been more than a full 20 minutes for Fordham to claw all the way back down 17 to get within 2. All the momentum in their favor. And you mentioned Kevin Smith's hyped up. This whole assistant coaching staff is allowing the players to rally behind them. And in this bizarre fashion, I mean, I wonder if there was even some kind of contingency plan. Did the coaches talk about if Mac Pio gets ejected, what happens? I mean, obviously Hamill's the guy that steps up and becomes the head coach. They'd planned that much. But otherwise, who takes over all these responsibilities that had been Mike Macpio's? They're doing it as a team, at least that's what it looks like from our vantage point, and the team is rewarding them and rallying behind them.
And, Joe, we didn't see it initially as LaSalle continued to sort of pile it on after the ejection, but it was a true momentum shift. The ejection from Coach Mike Magpio, the Fordham Rams players seeing the amount of fight, the amount of passion that came out of their head coach, and their run preceding that has been inspired by that. It has been passionate, it has been physical, and on both ends of the floor, they've done a really good job representing all the things Coach Magpio wants them to do.
Absolutely, and it didn't show itself right away because after Magpio was ejected, LaSalle gets 3 straight technical free throws and possession. They're able to keep pouring it on offensively, but after those first 2 minutes, really after the ejection, it's been nothing but Fordham. I mean, the offense has been clicking in a way we really haven't seen it click since maybe the George Washington game and otherwise all season. And now defensively starting to come into form. A slow start defensively in the first couple minutes of this half, but a couple crucial stops here down the stretch. You get a big turnover and a score from Day-Day Reeves, who's probably going to be on the all-defensive team that gets announced next week. And you're right back in this game.
The gap between field goal percentages is almost diminished completely. LaSalle 48%, Fordham now 46%, 21 for 45 from the field in general, now 6 for 17 from the three-point line. Their three-point percentage was in a really terrible place. They have improved that dramatically. What a turnaround from Coach Magpayo's unit without Coach Magpayo.
24-9. That's the run from Fordham since LaSalle reached its largest lead. 46-29 was the score with 2:18 left to go. Now it's 55-53. 24 points for Fordham in the last 7 minutes. They have not done that all season, I can virtually guarantee it.
Fordham also 5 for their last 6 threes as well. Johnson top of the arc, Dockery. Dockery guarded by the much smaller Henry, who pokes it away. Akira Jacobs on the floor, diving for the loose ball, and a held ball called. What hustle from the Fordham Rams. Immediately a timeout preceding that play. Fordham Rams, after the timeout, spending one play, getting down and dirty and going right back into the huddle.
Looks like it's going with LaSalle off of this held ball.
Possession
Next
arrow
one's going to be for Fordham, but anytime you can get a tie-up, that's good news if you're the defensive unit, because not only it starts with LaSalle, but that's actually better than if it happened on the other end and it was the other way around, because now LaSalle only has 13 on the shot clock, so a little bit of a shortened time frame for them to get off a shot. Regardless, anytime you can get on the floor after a guy like Chris Henry tips the ball, just keeping the momentum rolling, especially right after a media timeout in which LaSalle would hope to kind of even the momentum. Fordham, first team to the floor, getting that jump ball, huge.
And seeing it develop in the play, Christian Henry guarding a guy like Dockery, that's a demoralizing image to see on the court.
Yeah.
But then for Christian Henry to have such a sense of belonging about him and strip that ball, so important, not only for Christian Henry individually, but what he does as a leader for the rest of this group.
Yeah, and he's the point guard, but he's big enough to handle a guy who's 6'6" like Dockery. They wouldn't give him the assignment typically because you want your point guard who has the highest usage rate in the entire conference to be able to take some possessions off defensively. You want him to guard the least important player offensively for LaSalle. But when you get in those situations where you're matched up one-on-one against the game's leading scorer, a 6'6", big-bodied forward in Rob Dockery, your instincts go, uh-oh, he's already got 10 free throws. I think he's about to get a couple more. Just wiggle his way towards the cup, draw some contact from an aggressive defender in Henry. But no, Henry recognizes his strengths. He stays square to his chest defensively, and then at the exact moment, as soon as that ball leaves Dockery's hands on the left-handed dribble, Henry goes, swipes in, gets a tip of the ball. That's someone recognizing where they can take advantage of what would ordinarily be a mismatch.
Rika Schulte leading the Fordham Rams with 16. He's 7 for 11 from the field. Dede Reeves also with an efficient outing. He's 6 for 9 from the field. 15 points for him. That's a combined 31 points from what we've called one of the more unorthodox duos in this team. Rika Schulte, Dede Reeves, the guys who are expected to take on a massive load. They've done a good job with that so far tonight. And that three-point percentage and the discrepancy between the two, that's one of the biggest parts of this whole thing for me. As I mentioned before, Fordham Rams 5 for their last 6 from the three-point line. LaSalle 1 for their last 8 from the three-point line. It's Dede Reeves being 3 for 3 from the line. It's Akira Jacobs providing a 3. The three-point game, not one of the most integral parts of Fordham game, but when it's going, this Fordham team is really, really good.
And a guy to watch for during this stint, Marcus Green earns a second run after having a kind of rough first rotation. During Fordham's win streak, he was the guy who out of nowhere kind of became an impact player after being nearly thrust out of the rotation. Interested to see what he does here.
And off the inbound on the baseline, it's Naj Hart soaring to the rim for a slam on the alley-oop. Inbound pass alley-oop. One of the most beautiful things in the game. LaSalle with a 4-point lead after that score. Fordham now working offensively. Marcus Green, as you mentioned, on the right wing to Henry. Henry inside to Jacobs. Extra pass, a core left corner, and it goes! The tray goes for the true freshman, Rora Core. It's not his first of the night, but that one may have been most important. 57-56. The Rams trail by 1. 14:40 left to go in this second half. Johnson has it at the free throw line, drives to the rim, and finishes with the right hand on the right side of the glass. Good response there from LaSalle. Henry, right wing, at the top of the arc, driving to the left side of the lane, tried to bounce pass downstairs to Bodija, couldn't quite get there. It'll be out of bounds. Fordham ball into the basket.
Fordham's had some success on baseline out of bounces so far in this game. Able to drop a couple open corner threes. We'll see what they draw up here. Roar Core's the hot hand shooting-wise.
Christian Henry on the right side of the baseline, inbounds it. Kira Jacobs, right corner 3, no good off the inbound. Schulte on the second chance scores. Schultes scores and runs up the floor with some conviction. He's played with some conviction tonight. It's now a 59-58 LaSalle lead. 14 minutes to go in the second half. Top of the arc. Truth Harris, pass to Johnson, back to Harris, top of the arc. To Dockery, right wing three. No good off the right side of the rim. And a fight and a gather from Walker, who finishes it at the rim. Ashton Walker on the putback after the offensive rebound. That guy doesn't play like a freshman at all.
No, he's a freshman guard who's up to 4 rebounds, a couple of them offensive.
Henry through the right side of the lane, physically maneuvering his way through, and he's out of bounds. Official called him out of bounds on the baseline. It'll be a turnover, an unforced turnover for the Rams.
I think he wanted a push there, trying to drive right side baseline. Felt that someone didn't give him enough room to work the baseline. Steps on the end line out of bounds, but a turnover. The good news, Chris, that's Fordham's second of the entire day.
More good news. Day-Day Reeves subbing into the game after that play as well. Marcus Green taking a seat for the All-A-10 player. Top of the arc. Truth Harris three. It's good. Nothing but net for Truth Harris, and he has LaSalle back out to a 6-point lead. 64-58, 13-21. Day-Day Reeves on the right wing to Christian Henry. Right to left crossover. Driving through the left side of the lane. No good at the rim. Batted out to Roricore, who misses at the rim and misses again at the rim. Finally, Johnson under the basket gathers it for LaSalle. Two of the worst putback misses you'll see from Fordham all season long. It's a LaSalle player under the basket. I believe it's Truth Harris, directly next to the basketball stanchion. He's holding onto his left foot. A serious left foot issue for Truth Harris. Not Truth Harris. Who is that, Joe?
I think it might be Josiah Harris.
Josiah Harris, yeah, because I'm seeing Truth Harris right here in front of me. Josiah Harris, I believe that is Josiah Harris, a more lanky lad, under the basket, getting treatment from a trainer under the basket. Joe, a really staunch start and stop to this one so far, but when this game has had serious momentum, it's gone as fast and has moved with a pace as fast as we've seen all season.
And it really defies logic because both these teams are bottom 60 in the country in pace. They don't push the pace at all, and what have they done today? Worked it as fast as we've seen teams work all year. Maybe that was an emphasis in the game plan going into this game, that each team would try to exploit the other and surprise them and go a little bit faster. Well, they're both going faster.
Josiah Harris hobbling off the floor with help from two LaSalle staffers on each side. He's missed 3 of their last 7 with injury. He returned in their game against Davidson. This is not what you want to see if you're LaSalle. Backcourt of the Fordham Rams, Day-Day Reeves and Christian Henry, giving him taps on his chest. Nice show of respect there from what we've called a fantastic group of Fordham Rams this season. Josiah Harris can't even put weight on his left foot. Definitely not a good sign for the Explorers.
Yeah, it's really sad to see because this is senior day for LaSalle. This is Josiah Harris's last home game in his collegiate career. A guy who was at Radford with Coach Darius Nichols last year, made the move over to LaSalle with him, and it's been such an integral part of this team. For him to not be able to put any weight on his left foot is a really sad way for his home career to potentially end.
Yeah, and a nice perspective there from you, Joe, as well. We hope to see him in the A-10 tournament next week. 64-58, LaSalle lead, 12:53 to go in the second half. Johnson has it at the top of the arc, now drifts to the right wing, to Dockery, right corner. Stutter step, then takes. No good on the 3, but it's under the basket. An offensive rebound corralled in by Edwin Daniel. The Washington Heights native brought down that rebound amongst the trees and got fouled for it. It'll be a rebound under the basket from LaSalle.
Yeah, since Fordham has such mobile bigs, they'll have their 4 kind of stunt out and hedge off of ball screen. So there, Akira Jacobs comes out to the right wing, and then he'll sprint back in to try and get position on the center. Wasn't able to do that in time because Jaden Johnson read the play, immediately shot the ball, allowed Daniel to have position.
Off the inbound, Johnson gets it in under the basket to Truth Harris in the right corner, who hits the 3 plus the foul. 4-point play off the inbound for the Explorers. One of the plays of the season for the Explorers. LaSalle now with a 9-point lead after that play. And after Fordham doing all that work, they still feel just a ways away. 67-58, Explorers lead. Now a 10-point lead after the free throw. Day Reeves almost smirking after that play in disbelief.
Brutal sequence. 8-0 run, last minute 38 for LaSalle.
As I said, 10-point deficit for the Rams. Day Reeves trying to cut into that. He has it. Pass in the right corner. That three, no good from Abbas Bodija, an air ball. Rika Schulte there on the second chance. He has it. Possession continues. Back out to Bodija. He pump fakes. Drives inside. Gets to the rim. No good at the rim. He hit only backboard on the layup. Missed the rim again. Accord can't get to the outlet pass. And out of bounds. It'll actually be a travel on the baseline from number 27, Edwin Daniel. LaSalle tried to play it quick and caused a turnover. Edwin Daniel from Washington Heights. Not too far away from Fordham in the Bronx. My grandfather owned a liquor store in Washington Heights. Joe.
Interesting.
Shout out the original Chris Carrino, born at Fordham Hospital, which is where the car lot is now on Fordham University. I have deep Fordham ties, Joe. Pass to Day Reeves. He's resetting the offense. Drives to the right side of the lane. Picking up heavy contact. No good at the rim. It'll be a rebound from Accord. Possession continues. Bodija left corner three. It's good. After a possession to go, he airballs. Bodija not letting the mental blockade get in the way without hesitation, knocking that one down. Great to see, Joe. Fordham now within 7, 68-61. 11 and a half to go. Dockery, right leg stutter step, takes the mid-ranger. It's good. Top of the key jumper is good for Dockery, as calm as you like. 11:15 to go, 70-61 LaSalle lead. Reeves to Lesmond, left wing, snatch through to the left, drive inside and finish at the rim. Strong play there from the Paris native. 11 minutes even in this A-10 matchup. 70-63 LaSalle lead. Johnson deep on the left wing, drifts over to the right wing, pass to Truth Harris. Harris inside to Dockery. Dockery on the right post, facing up his defender. Dribble handoff to Harris. Harris in the right corner, driving inside and getting fouled on his way to the rim. I believe that'll be a shooting foul. Truth Harris will go to the line for two.
I think they're going to get Schulte on. He kind of just bodied him up on the left side baseline dribble drive. Accord came over. He would have had a block if Schulte hadn't committed the foul, but if Schulte hadn't committed it, then Harris would have been able to get up much more cleanly, get the ball in the air faster. Could have been a momentum changer there from Accord. Still, you like to see Fordham, after surrendering that 8-0 run, come right back. Abbas Bodija hit a big triple. Rika Schulte get a big offensive rebound. This team showing plenty of fight, Chris.
Fordham trying to stay in this one. They trail 70-63, 10:43 left in the ball game. A late media timeout, so we'll send it to the Rose Hill Studios for another one-on-one scoreboard update with Abby Cristofaro. Take it away, Abby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The A-10 women's basketball tournament is underway in Virginia. With an early victory for Duquesne with a final score of 60-52, the Dukes moving on to play number 5 seed St. Joseph's will be tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Fordham's women's team, battling St. Louis today, faced defeat to the Billikens with a final score of 68-60. St. Louis moves to round 2 to play LaSalle at 7:30 tomorrow night. The winner of that game going on to match up against Richmond. And for more of round 2, we see number 7 Dayton versus number 10 George Washington, and number 8 Loyola Chicago against number 9 St. Bonaventure. Round 3, the winners of those two games will play the 1 and 2 seed Rhode Island and George Mason. Those games will be on Friday. With your one-on-one scoreboard report, I'm Abby Cristofaro.
Back here at Glazer Arena. Fordham trail by 7, 70-63, 10:43 to go in the second half. They've shown fight down the stretch. LaSalle has had the counter punch every time, but Fordham just not down yet, Joe.
Not at all, and it's been the front court. Of course, you can talk so much about what Day Reeves has done. 15 points, 6 of 10 shooting, 3 of 3 from 3 for a guy shooting just 21% from beyond the arc. All conference play. Chris Henry, yes, he's been quiet, 4 points, 1 of 7 shooting, but 6 assists, including all 6 assists actually coming in the first half, but also 2 assists at the very end of the first half that helped spark that initial Fordham run. But the front court getting it done later on to keep this team alive as LaSalle throws its best punch down the stretch. Still trailing by 7, still worked to 2, but how about Abbas Bodija coming off of a kind of rough game against VCU? 12 points, 5 of 10 shooting, has hit 2 big threes, 4 rebounds as well. And of course, Rika Schulte, 18 and 10. I believe his 9th double-double of the year. I believe that is second in the Atlantic 10 Conference, having a really big game at a time when it's sorely needed.
Rico Schulte averaging the second most rebounds in the conference as well. He's perpetuated that reputation so far this evening. LaSalle offense, 4 for their last 5 from the field, and Truth Harris at the line now for 2. LaSalle with a 7-point lead going to the free throw line. 10:43 to go here in the second half. Truth Harris good on the first. Truth Harris, role has increased in the last 2 games here, sliding into the starting lineup. He's averaged 15 points in that 2-game stretch. Second one, good at the line as well. It's now 9-point lead for LaSalle. 72-63, 10:30 to go in this second half. Day Reeves going left around to Bodige's screen. Fordham working offensively. Has it at the left wing now to Lesmond, left corner, driving to the middle of the lane and finishing with an extended right hand in the middle of the lane. What a play from Louis Lesmond.
Huge shot for a guy that didn't score in 23 minutes against VCU, didn't score in the first half, to have 2 buckets here in the last couple minutes to get this team right back in the game.
72-65 LaSalle lead. 10 minutes to go. Johnson plays it to Dockery. Guarded by Jacobs, right wing. Fakes right, then goes right. Dump off pass, no good at the rim. Second chance, also no good at the rim. Nas Hart receiving a beautiful pass from Dockery. He couldn't finish it. Good play from Fordham getting the ball back. Henry out of the left wing. 9:45 to go in the second half. A foul off the ball. It's going to be on LaSalle. It's going to be their second foul of the half. Disciplined LaSalle team in the second half. 9:44 to go.
Yeah, and Chris, that first foul came after just 10 seconds had elapsed in the second half. Then we went 10 minutes flat until 9:50 left to get a second foul. 10 straight minutes, 0 fouls. I think if Mike Magpie was here, I don't think he'd be very happy, Chris.
I don't think so either. Lesmond off the inbound, finishes from the mid-range. A step or two inside the left corner 3-point line. Louis Lesmond with 2 straight possessions with a bucket. He's got Fordham by himself within 5. 72-67, 9.5 to go. Dockery picks it up at the top of the key, drives inside, and it'll be a reach-in foul. No, it's going the other way. An offensive foul called on the driving Dockery.
They got him for a hook, Chris, on Akira Jacobs.
You don't see it called every time, but when it's called, you appreciate it. Fordham down 5 with the ball now. 9.5 to go in the second half. Christian Henry receives it in the backcourt. He'll bring it up for the Rams. Guarded by Johnson. Henry to Bodija. Bodija at the top of the key. Snatch through right, spin back left. In the middle of the lane, clears air and finishes at the rim. A calm layup after not so calm offensive moves gets Abbas Bodija and the Rams back within 3. 72-69, 9 minutes to go in this second half. Fordham bench starting a chant with the lack of Fordham community here in the gym. After the misses, Day Reeves soaring for the rebound. Fordham has it after the LaSalle miss. On the right wing, Day Reeves has the much bigger Dockery on him. Gets it to Henry, top of the arc. Henry faking left, back to Day Reeves. An array of dribble moves, step back 3, no good, an air ball. Out of bounds on the baseline. It'll go back to LaSalle. I believe maybe the first air ball from Day Reeves all season.
There's one guy that won't be affected by an air ball. It's Reeves.
Yeah,
don't have to worry about that. Another guy not affected by an air ball, Abbas Bodija, checking out. Well-earned rest for a guy up to 14 points, 1 point off of his career high. This is why the future is thought of to be so bright for Fordham. A guy like him in a core to be showing flashes of these beautiful finishing moves inside as freshmen coming from Australia. Future truly is bright.
Truth Harris gets it on the pass from Walker. An air ball from the left wing, and that's going to be Fordham ball once again. Dockery trying to save that one. Ended up, I believe, from my count, the 6th row of the baseline.
He just started running up the stairs, Chris.
Surprised we didn't get an air ball chant from the Fordham bench. Been very prevalent air ball chants from the LaSalle student section. We'll have to give credit for a school 4-12 in the conference. Still have a pretty legitimate student section behind the basket. A reach-in foul on the driving Day Reeves. That'll be a timeout preceding the foul. Fordham going to get it on an inbound after the timeout. 72-69, Fordham trail by 3, 8 minutes even to go in this second half. Anything, Joe?
Well, for Fordham, it's going to be really an interesting stretch because Day-Day Reeves has gone quiet after a great first half again. I believe he had 10 points and then 5-point outburst first few minutes of the second half. But really, this Fordham comeback, the latest one, it's been led by Abbas Bodija, Louis Lesmond. Of course, Jacobs and Henry have been involved in spurring that. Rika Schulta up to a double-double, now 18 and 10. But Day-Day Reeves has been surprisingly quiet. This 8-minute mark is about the point in just about every game this season where he goes from good to great. He can be having a great game. He can be leading your offense, really steadying the ship after Fordham has a lot of really slow offensive starts. But late in the game, in these clutch moments, in these close games, on the road, Chris, that's when Day-Day Reeves takes over. I'm eager to see to what extent Fordham's going to use him. He's been off the ball a lot. Are you going to let him get some point guard reps and get himself going, where he's getting the ball inside? I mean, he's taken 4 threes. He made his first 3, just airballed his last one. See if he's going to get some more shots at the rim here. See if he's going to initiate the offense a little more, because he's the guy all season that has been leading you from these deficits to wins. It's been the rest of the team doing that the past few minutes. Is it time for Day-Day to take over?
It's been a scoreless 2:43 for LaSalle as well. That's helped this Fordham team get back in the game. I'm slightly distracted right now, Joe, because Joe, as I've also experienced this, you've seen a lot of timeouts. You've seen a lot of promotional arena situations. The T-shirt toss is normal. The T-shirt toss is something we've come to expect.
We had a couple weeks ago, Tucker Austin caught a T-shirt.
That's good stuff. But my point was, we've seen that. That's normal. Yeah. What I haven't seen before is the pizza toss. We just had a pizza toss at the timeout in Johnny Glazer Arena. There was cheerleaders with boxes of pizza running up and down the stairs of the stands, giving out pizza to lucky fans. There's now a group of around 5 to 6, I would say 6-year-olds next to us, all enjoying their own pie of pizza in an orthodox timeout sort of promotional tool here in LaSalle, maybe to match what has been an orthodox game and possibly an orthodox finish, Joe. Joe, you're enamored by the pizza eating.
It's amazing. Fordham should do this. I mean, Little Italy, it's right there. Arthur Ave.
If they're doing pizza giveaways here, what excuse does Little Italy have?
I mean, you bring a Pugsley's pie, throw some meatballs out there at the fans.
Shout out Mezzaluna.
You want to drive up attendance. Get the Italian goods into the building. When we had the Arthur Ave game, a lot of people showed up to that game, and Fordham won. I think LaSalle is onto something here.
You might be onto something, Joe. Fordham inbounding after the timeout, under the basket. Christian Henry gets it into Schulta. Schulta right wing. 3-point deficit for the Rams. Lesmond to a rolling Schulta under the rim. An array of pump fakes ends with a finish under the rim. Schulta gets his Rams back within 1. 7:49 left in the second half. 72-71.
I love the coaching staff using Lesmond as a playmaker after he gets going offensively, because when he's confident as a playmaker, he's actually a really good option, maybe the third best on this team behind Reeves and Henry.
Fordham Rams bench on their feet, chanting defense. Dockery, right wing 3, no good. Rebound brought down by Day-Day. 7:26 to go in this second half. We're approaching Day-Day Magic territory. Reeves to the left side of the lane, rejected with an emphasis by Dockery. Rob Dockery at the left block, sending that one into the cheerleaders. It'll be Christian Henry inbounding it under the basket.
Again, inbounds have been an advantage here for Fordham.
Christian Henry, a fantastic inbounder, gets to a core, left corner 3, another air ball for the Rams. Christian Henry secures the offensive rebound. Great work from Henry. The Eastern Michigan transfer showing his stuff. Facing off a defender with his body, no good at the rim, but a foul. He'll go to the line for 2. Christian Henry weighing off his defender with his full body's weight and then getting to the rim.
Look, you might look at the box score and say that he's having a bad game if you're not watching it. 4 points, 1 of 7. He's got 6 assists. That was a huge offensive rebound that he had no business getting. The ball was on the ground. He just reached in and just corralled it away from the defender. Never had the ball leave the floor. He hits his first free throw. Chris, if he makes this one, it's Fordham's first lead since it was 7-5 with 16 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first.
He made the second free throw. Joe, repeat that, please.
First lead in 30-plus minutes for Fordham.
Fordham bench arises as they head on to the defensive end. Louis Lesmond guarding out of the left wing. Up top to Dockery on the right wing. Up top to Johnson. Has a three, doesn't take it. Roricourt on the ground, hurt. An offensive rebound brought down and finished under the basket from Edwin Daniel. Roricourt slightly injured, gingerly getting up, ends up getting up. Seems like he's okay, but he's gingerly walking on that right leg. Joe, you seemed concerned during that play.
He missed some time with an ankle injury.
We know your appreciation
this year
for Roricourt.
And he's dealt with cramps as well earlier in the season. He's walking in such a way that it could be cramps.
He really configured his body in a weird way, banging into fellow Fordham Ram Rika Schulte. And Christian Henry has it for the Fordham Rams offense. Rams offense trying to take the lead. An off-the-ball screen from Rika Schulte leads to an offensive foul. It'll be on the baseline. Schulte committing the foul. I believe that was on Truth Harris. And Fordham committing a turnover with a chance to take the lead.
Just Fordham's fourth of the entire game. You hope that doesn't affect Schultz's mental. It's his third personal, so they're going to take him out for a minute here, but he needs to be at his most aggressive. He's got 20 and 10. He's been the guy offensively on the glass, stabilizing things for Fordham.
Really can't say enough about his performance so far this evening. Harris to Walker, left wing, back to Johnson. An array of passes in the backcourt for LaSalle. To Dockery, right wing. Dockery dribble handoff. Walker, right corner three. Quick fire, gets it to go. Walker, Ashton Walker, the freshman, with a major triple to get LaSalle back out to a 4-point lead. Explorers with a multi-possession lead once again. To Henry, top of the arc. Henry to Lesmond, left corner, pump fake, drives baseline, back out to Jacobs. Jacobs stops, back to Lesmond. Left corner three, rimming in and out, as close as you can get. Lesmond missing that one from the left corner. He settles in defensively, guarding Dockery out of the left wing, behind the arc. Dockery to Truth Harris, back up top to Johnson. Relatively same group for LaSalle, a team that was so deep in the beginning of the game. Has rolled with the same crew. LaSalle, top of the arc. Johnson, spinning middle of the lane. 8-footer, no good at the rim. Second chance brought down. Dockery, no good from three. Another second chance brought down. That time it's Daniel. The Heights native driving inside, finishing at the rim on Jacobs. Ashton Walker pumped up for his teammate, running down the floor, and that's big boy buckets from LaSalle. 79-73 lead on the Fordham Rams. 5:17 to go in this second half.
Chris, that's all because Rika Schulte had to check out with that actually fourth personal foul of the day. 2 offensive rebounds consecutively. If Schulte's there, he's pulling down both of those. Just the positioning he's able to get, the reach that he has, the touch that he has, the vision that he has. None of that happens if Rika Schulte is in the game, but of course he had to come out. Now the question, another counter run from LaSalle, another punch thrown. As soon as you think Fordham's going to finally overtake LaSalle, boom, 7-0 run. Last minute, 49. Now the clock's running short. What does Mike Macpaio, who's not here to tell us all right now, always say? If you're in the game at the 4 minute...
Not only is he not here to tell us, he's not here to tell the team.
No. If you're not in it at the 4-minute media timeout, then you've done something wrong. If you are, then you should win. Minute plus here until we hit that media timeout. Huge that Fordham is able to punch back after this timeout. You get an offensive possession, sideline out of bounds. They've been super efficient on these exact type of plays all day. Let's see what Troy Hamill and company draw up for the team.
Schulte still on the bench, 20 and 10 tonight. One of the best performances of the season. Henry, top of the arc, 5:11 on the game clock. Still a 6-point deficit for the Rams. Henry receives it, or gives it to Day-Day Reeves. Left corner, Reeves back out to Henry. Henry, above his head, pass under the basket to Abbas Bodija, initially rejected at the rim, but it's going to be a a foul call on, I believe, the Heights native Edwin Daniel, and it'll be Abbas Bodija going to the line for 2. Thought it was a goaltend, it wasn't.
They certainly made it seem like it, the way that they motioned, but I haven't seen the points added for Fordham.
Edwin Daniel not happy with the foul call. Edwin, the Heights native, used to a more rough brand of basketball, I think. They don't mess around down there in the Washington Heights, Joe.
I mean, I couldn't believe Bodija wasn't able to finish that. I mean, he was fouled, so of course that's why. But, I mean, that ball was virtually in. But it looks like no goaltend. Looks like it's going to be 2 shots.
Regardless of the goaltend or not, a 4-point deficit for the Rams. 4:59 to go.
No, they are calling it goaltend.
Oh, they are. An and one for Abbas Bodija. Major and one for the Fordham Rams. He completes the 3-point play at the line. 3-point play for the Rams gets them within 3. Wow.
That was another play, by the way, created by Chris Henry. He got the ball from Reeves up top. Noticed Bodija on the roll. Reeves had drawn 2 defenders. Got it in immediately. He was wide open for the finish.
Fordham defending with a 3-point deficit. 4:45 to go in the second half. Johnson to Dockery. Left block. Guarded by Bodija. Bodija tried to cut him off baseline. It didn't work. Dockery slithers his way in front of the rim to finish. What a play.
It's up to 19 points, Chris.
4-point lead for LaSalle. 4.5 to go. Henry, top of the arc, spinning right in the middle of the lane. Rejected. Edwin Daniel looked like he came out of the rafters to help on the double team and reject that one.
Chris, if he qualified, he'd have the best block percentage in the entire conference. Top 20 in the country.
Wow.
Coming alive last couple minutes.
Walker spinning right in the right lane and finishing at the rim. LaSalle Explorers continuing their momentum down the stretch. It's now a 7-point lead. 4 minutes to go. Day Reeves. Fordham need a bucket. Gives it to Lesmond, left corner. Lesmond backing down his defender. Faces up his defender, puts up a shot. It's rejected again. It's the helping Daniel again. And a foul in transition, a reach-in foul. And my goodness, Edwin Daniel, the Washington Heights native, being personally mean to his hometown team. Talked about his blocks, his block percentage. Not only is it the numbers, it's his presence down low. He has changed the game since the Josiah Harris injury that took him out of this one. It's been Edwin Daniel almost the entire way since, and what an impact he's made.
Absolutely. It's 3rd block of the game. Dockery's got 2. They combined for 5 by themselves. Not the biggest front court you're going to see, but boy, do they jump. Boy, do they have good vision. They know exactly when to time up their blocks. And for Fordham and Louis Lesmond, that last possession, Daniel came over. I'm not sure if he saw him on the double team. If he had, I think he would have hit Day Reeves, who was left open on the wing. I think in that situation, just not a great spot for Lesmond. Tied up in the mid-range in the far post. Not really an area where he's an efficient scorer. Would like to see him look to pass there instead of looking to shoot.
It's been trials and tribulations all evening long for the Fordham Rams. They found themselves down 18 in the first half, cut it to within 2, cut it to within 1. Or it was tied at one point as well. Christian Henry made it a 1-point lead with a batch of free throws at the line. And since then, Fordham slowly but surely down the stretch has let this one slip away. They're just around the point of this one where it's going to be beyond the point of return. Fordham needs a bucket, and they need stops on the defensive end. Stacking together stops and scores. That's the name of the game for Coach Mike McPio's crew.
And again, we talked about it at the 8-minute mark. Day Reeves, 15 points. 4 minutes later, still at 15 points. Imagine Rika Schultz is going to come back into the game. Those are the 2 guys that are going to have to take you the rest of the way and find a way to pull this out. It would be one of the most impressive wins of the year, no doubt, with your head coach being thrown out on the other team's senior day, with their crowd getting into it, with them going on all these runs under all these circumstances to find a way. I think it's got to be Reeves leading the charge.
With Reeves leading the charge, we'll catch up for the last 3 minutes or so. But first, we're going to send it to the Rose Hill studio for an update report from Abby Cristofaro. Take it away, Abby.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Across the A10, we have a 5-game night in men's hoops. Kicking off, the St. Bonaventure Bonnies versus the George Washington Revolutionaries currently stands at 41-40 GW. Duquesne's against Rhode Island tonight. That game is in the second half with a score of 32-27. Duquesne with the lead. Davidson hosts St. Joseph's, the Hawks with the lead of 50-42. Just getting underway, Loyola visits St. Louis, and an early score there is 8-6 with the Billikens leading. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Abby Cristofaro.
Thank you to Abby as always. She's done just a fantastic job all evening long. On this cold, wet, rainy Wednesday night in the Northeast, we find you from John E. Glazer Arena. 3.5 to go. Straight on 3. No good for LaSalle. And now Fordham has the ball. Down 7. 3.5 to go. Christian Henry, dribble handoff, Day Reeves, has it on the right wing. Reeves directly behind the three-point line to Henry. In the right corner, Henry, pass to Bodija. Bodija picked up on a double team, spinning toward the basket and finishing at the rim. That's a career high for the redshirt freshman from UC Riverside, Abbas Bodija. He gets his team back within 5. 83-78, 3 minutes to go in this second half. Johnson picks it up at the free throw line and fires it to his head coach, Darius Nichols. Thought that his big man, Rob Dockery, was in the right corner. Dockery hadn't quite gotten there yet.
Nichols, of course, did play, in fact, with Joe Mazzulla on those West Virginia teams.
You always got to get it in, Joe. I can't blame him.
So I can't blame him. He looks like a ball player.
I got in a Carolina win from 6 years ago earlier, so you're good. You're more than good. Christian Henry on the left wing, going left around a Schulte screen. Back out. Reeves three. It's good! Day Reeves down the stretch with one of the biggest shots for the Fordham Rams all season long. 2.5 to go in this second half. 83-81, Fordham trail. Day gets the Rams within 2. Dockery under the rim, finishes with a scooping left-handed layup. What a play on the defending Schulte. Schulte has to be careful with 4 fouls. Bodija, dribble handoff, Day Reeves. Fakes left, goes right. Day at the right wing, out to Henry. Henry back to Reeves. Wide open 3. No good. Off the left side of the rim. Would have been a big shot for the Rams. Instead, it's LaSalle. Explorers with the ball, up 4, 1:55 to go. Game slowly slipping away from the Rams.
Got to wreak some havoc here. Try and get a live ball turnover.
Johnson, top of the arc, going left around the screen. Right corner, Truth Harris 3, no good. Rebound brought down by Day Reeves. He's there like clockwork, Joe. Christian Henry out of the left wing. Still down 4. Aurora Core straight on 3. No good off back iron. And it's going to be a rebound brought down physically by Edwin Daniel.
So that's where Core's fearlessness hurts him, because he had Reeves wide open in the corner. Instead took a kind of contested 3.
Didn't hesitate either.
Love to see the lack of hesitation, but also need a little bit of vision.
1:11 to go. Game continuing to slip away from the Rams. Still down 4. Top of the air. Dockery, right wing, back to Truth Harris, top of the arc, snatches left, passes to Dockery left, step back 3, right corner, no good. Rebound brought down by Fordham. They go the other way. 54 seconds left, down 4. They need a bucket, and they need it fast. Reeves out to Henry. Henry guarded by Harris, left to right crossover, and it's going to be out of bounds on the baseline, staying with the Rams. 45.5 on the game clock, still down 4.
It's been a brutal sequence. These teams have combined 2 of their last 13 from 3. A couple of those could have put the game away for LaSalle. Now baseline out of bounds, inbound. Fordham has been really successful here. Who's going to get it?
Christian Henry inbounding the ball on the right side of the baseline under the basket. It's going to be Roar Core getting it. Right corner. His 3 wide open is good. Missed the one earlier, and he sure as heck got that one. Roar Core from the right corner gets Fordham back within 1. 43 on the game clock. If that doesn't fire you up, Joe, I don't know what will. The Fordham Rams, who have fought and clawed all evening long, now put themselves in a place to go out, Joe, and win this game.
How about these freshmen, Chris? Abbas Bodija, redshirt freshman, airballed a 3 earlier in the game in front of the student section, got an earful for it. Had a bad game a few days ago. Career high, 19 points. Add on 5 rebounds and a steal. His best game as a Fordham Ram. Roar Core misses his first 3 from 3, but he doesn't stop shooting. And in the biggest moment, coming straight off of a missed 3, launches another one. In fact, the coaches had so much trust in him despite all that, they drew up the play for him. He takes it.
How many true freshmen around the country can have that happen and get the play drawn up for them in the next inbound? My word.
There are realities, Chris, in which Roar Core does not play all year this year. He was a DNP, coach's decision, first game of the year. He talked with Mac Pio, said, no, I don't want a red shirt. I want to play.
And they're happy he said that. They're happy he went out of his way to say that. Fordham now within 1 after the Roar foul. They're in the backcourt trying to force a turnover on the inbound, and it's going to be a foul. Roar Core on the foul, 39.1 on the game clock. And Fordham with a 1-point lead sends Jaden Johnson, the Baltimore native, to the line.
It looked like an intentional foul from McCory. Came over for the trap, wasn't able to get the steal. He gave the foul with his right hand across the chest to Johnson. Johnson, he's a 6'2 guard. You'd think he's a great free throw shooter. Just 65%. And he's not a great shooter overall either. Just 4 of 20, now 5 of 21 on the year from 3. So this is not a gimme for Johnson.
Aside from Hart, the only guy with a lower free throw percentage in the starting lineup. He misses the first. Fordham with the door wide open, down 1. 35 seconds left. 85-84, Dede Reeves through the right side of the lane, gets to the rim with speed, finishes plus the foul! It's Dede Reeves, and it won't be. It'll be an offensive foul. A charge call. Truth Harris taking the plunge now for the second time this evening. And Dede Reeves with speed and physicality drove to the lane and completely took out LaSalle under the basket. Joe Henry, your mouth is open. I'm not sure you agree with that one. Sorry to call you out.
I can't believe it. I mean, I'll have to look at a replay, but Harris went up. It wasn't like he was on the floor just taking the blow. I mean, they met in the air. When do you ever see that get called a charge?
I've never seen that called a charge. I also didn't see that in real time. There was such an issue, and Dockery falls and travels. Dockery got the inbound and traveled. This game is bananas. LaSalle up 1, 85-84, after one of the more bizarre charge calls we've seen all year. Have an inbound with 27 seconds left, and Dockery slips and falls and turns the ball over. Fordham now with the ball with 27 seconds left. Down 1. 85-84 LaSalle. Oh my goodness, Joe.
2 straight plays, my mouth is agape. I mean, how do you make sense of that? He got the ball uncontested. It wasn't like he was being trapped, which is what Fordham was going to do, and then they'd have to foul given the circumstances. No, he got the ball clean off the inbound.
Joe, let me explain. There was a major play, as I just described, a smorgasbord of players under the rim. Guys fell. There was sweat under the basket, and instead of wiping it up, Dockery tries to pivot his foot, tries to get his pivot foot established in that wet area, and I hate to do this, but that wet spot might have cost LaSalle a ton here in this moment. Wow. How the tide turns. Fordham will inbound it under the basket. They'll inbound it from the right side of the baseline under the basket. 27.2 on the game clock. Fordham down 1, 85-84. Here we go. Dede Reeves to inbound it. Be a 4-corner set. In the right corner, back to Dede Reeves after an inbound to Jacobs. Dede Reeves, top of the arc. He'll settle. Dede going left around the screen, through the middle of the lane, lost it, kept it, back out Jacobs. His 3, no good off front rim. Still a fight for the loose ball, and it's brought in by Dockery. Rikas Schulte with the foul on the loose ball, and that'll be his 5th. He's out of here. He's out of here. The Fordham Rams with as good of a chance as you can ask for. Akira Jacobs wide open, and I mean wide open on the right wing with a chance to put his team up 2 with around 15 seconds left. Instead, he misses. LaSalle gets the rebound, and they're fouled preceding that. That'll be 2 free throws with 11 seconds left and a 1-point lead for the Explorers.
That would have been the shot of the year on what might be the game of the year here. I mean, that's unbelievable, this sequence of events. And to get that shot, Reeves drawing all that attention in the paint to find an open man in Jacobs, who hit one earlier. Dockery, 75% shooter at the line this year, but Chris, 9 of 10 today.
9 of 10 at the line, following a trend of great free throw shooting from LaSalle all evening long. They're up 1, 85-84. 11 seconds left. Dockery at the line. Dockery on his first, makes the first of the 1-and-1. Joe, we've slightly gotten sentimental this last couple of days. Our last regular season game at Fordham, I'm not sure we've seen one this crazy period. Road, home, quite possibly one of the craziest Fordham men's games of the last couple years. And now Dockery at the line for his second, gets it to go. He's now 11 for 12 at the line this evening, and he gave LaSalle a 3-point lead, 87-84, 11.1 on the game clock. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. Joe, what a bizarre game, a bizarre finish, and a possibly deflating ending for the Rams.
Possibly, but They've been in this spot before. This is identical to the Rhode Island game.
What
and
happened
what did
there?
they do? They got it to Roar Core.
Explain the play that they drew up for Roar Core. Not too dissimilar from the play they drew up there earlier.
Not at all, because they got the ball into Reeves from Henry, top of the key. Core got an off-ball screen, slipped up to the right wing, and was able to get a good look at the three. He did bank it in, not sure that was intentional. But here, Fordham using their last timeout, or rather LaSalle gets charged with a timeout, so worth noting. Rams will be able to take a timeout if they don't get it in.
Would also like to mention one of the only differences between that moment and this moment, the head coach of the Fordham Rams not able to draw up the play. Coach Mike Magpio ejected from this one in the first. It was the beginning of quite possibly one of the craziest games we've seen all season, and now it's ending with 11 seconds left. A 3-point deficit for the Rams, and the Rams with the ball with a chance to tie.
Fordham has to move it all the way up the floor. We'll see
court.
if they take a timeout after advancing it.
Akira Jacobs under the basket on the other side of the floor. As Joe said, they got to go all the way. They will. Christian Henry gets it across half court. 8 seconds left. Down 3. Fordham trying to go for the tie. Gets it to a core. Right wing. Takes the 3. No good. Off front rim. And that's it. The Fordham Rams lose an absolute thriller in John E. Glazer Arena in the city of brotherly love. LaSalle win this one, and win this one by the skin of their teeth. 87-84 in their last home game of the regular season and their senior night. What a game, Joe, here in Philadelphia.
That was, and I'm not joking, Chris, the exact same play that Fordham ran against Rhode Island for Roar Core to get the exact same game-tying shot. That time, LaSalle blew it up. And they were able to get it to a core, but he was 5 steps behind the line, and that's a catch-and-shoot shooter, not a step-back 3 type of guy. Forced him to put the ball on the floor, make a move. He did all that, wasn't able to get the finish, and a crazy finish to what was a crazy, crazy game, a fitting finale for us as broadcast partners, at least here in the regular season.
Absolutely. You would, going into this one, from our perspective, want a good game, and we've absolutely gotten that. We've gotten one of the greatest games we've seen in our time at Fordham. And now, Joe, quickly before we send into the studio, would like to quickly change our perspective into now their next game on Saturday and going into the tournament next week. They were expected, or at least hoped, to win their last 2. Obviously now, losing that one, that's no longer the case or no longer possible. A lot went wrong in this one. A lot went weird, I can say, in this one to maybe make this one feel like less of a loss or less powerful of a loss than maybe coming into this one. But what should the perspective be for the Fordham Rams, Joe, heading in to their regular season finale on Saturday?
I think no matter what, just win. I mean, you can say all you want about the seeding situations. Fordham's currently in the 8-9. If they're in the 8-9, they're probably going to play GW, who's a lot better than a 9 seed because they just got one of the best players, maybe the best player in the entire conference back in Rafael Castro. You win that game, congrats, you're playing ranked St. Louis, the number 1 seed. So fans are speculating, maybe they should try and lose, get the 10. If they win out, they could kind of have a shot at the 7. There's a 7% chance they get the 7, 1% of the 6. That's kind of off the table now. It's 8, 9, 10. Still a tiny percent chance they're going to have to play on Wednesday in the 11 as the 11 seed. Almost certainly not going to happen. The inclination is going to be that you're going to want to do a little bit of scoreboard watching, seeing how other teams finish, seeing what the result's going to be on Saturday, what's going to happen. It doesn't matter. You got to just win. Because for this team, through everything, they could really use the momentum. I mean, going into conference tournament season on a 3-game losing streak, regardless of what those losses were like against a really great team on the road, your head coach gets thrown out and you nearly come back from a 17-point deficit on the road. Whatever happens Saturday, this team could use a win. Last game of the season on senior day, last home game. You have everyone in the building. You want to make sure that the fans go out on a positive note and that there's some energy with this team traveling back to Pittsburgh for the conference tournament next week. At the end of the day, you got to win. You got to just find a way. It's what they did against Rhode Island last time they played. This game was crazy. Expect that game to be crazy. The A-10 is crazy. Great way to celebrate 50 years of this conference.
And Joe, let me slightly nerd out here on our last regular season broadcast at FUV. We always call it in wrestling the road to WrestleMania, Joe. When the Royal Rumble starts in January, that's firmly the road to WrestleMania. We are firmly on the road to the A-10 tournament, the first stop a bit bumpy. An 87-84 loss on the road at John E. Glazer Arena to the LaSalle Explorers. The LaSalle Explorers move to 5-12 on the year. We talked about their young players. That was spearheaded by Ashton Walker. They have a bright future ahead of their program, but now the attention changes to Saturday. A Saturday matchup at the Rose Hill Gym. That's March 7th. That's at 2 p.m. against Rhode Island. This Fordham team played Rhode Island relatively recently. That was a 70-66 win on the road. They'll play them in their regular season finale on Saturday at 2 p.m. Once again in the Rose Hill Gym. It'll be senior night or senior day. We'll be celebrating the seniors on this roster who have done so much for this program, and hopefully the Fordham Rams can end their regular season in a way that can have them with some decent momentum heading into the postseason.
Absolutely. That's the goal, and Rhode Island's a good team for a tune-up, because if you get the first round bye, which again 99-point-something% chance that Fordham's going to do that, you're going to play a Rhode Island type of team. You might even play Rhode Island. There's a reasonable stipulation where, depending on the result of Rhode Island's game against Duquesne today, and the result of a couple other games on Saturday, that if Fordham loses and Rhode Island wins, or vice versa, that they could end up playing each other. Probably is not going to happen, but that could be a whole other wrinkle regardless. It's going to be a really fun game, and coming off 2 losses, it feels like a must-win just to make sure the momentum's in the right direction heading to conference play.
The Fordham Rams lose in their road season finale, 87-84 on the road at LaSalle. As we said before, they'll head into their final game of the regular season, senior day. That's Saturday at 2 p.m. against Rhode Island at the Rose Hill Gym. For us on the road this season, we'd like to thank all of you for listening throughout this year. Also a special thanks at the end here for our travel buddy, Joe DeBerry, the guy who helps us out so much, the head of sports information at Fordham. He's been doing it for a really long time, and we love him so much. So a special thanks to him as we culminate this regular season on the road. As I said before, 87-84 LaSalle win over the Fordham Rams, and now the Fordham Rams with 1 game left until the Atlantic 10 tournament. For us, me, Chris Carrino, and my partner, Joe Henry, from the city of brotherly love, we send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one post-game show with who we've heard from all evening long, Abby Cristofaro, and our host, our main man, Nathan Rogers. Thanks, guys.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back into the historic Rose Hill Studio for the one-on-one post-game report. I'm Nathan Rogers, your host here with Abby Cristofaro. Fordham loses an absolute close one, a thriller in Philly against LaSalle, 87-84. LaSalle on top. LaSalle wins it by the skin of their teeth on their senior night as well. McPile got ejected for the first time during his Fordham career so far. Fordham kind of just slipped apart in the last couple minutes there, couldn't get anything going. But again, the shots were falling. You know, it was coming together, especially out of the gate. We talked at the halftime show. They have to have the momentum going into that second half. They did. They went on an 8-0 run. They really saw, LaSalle kind of crumble defensively, but Fordham got in foul trouble. Schulte left the game with 5. A core kind of fell and got up gingerly, kind of dealing with some cramps throughout the season. So nothing too crazy, but he ended up taking a shot, the same play that was drawn up against URI where he did hit the shot. He banked that one in as a game-tying shot. They ended up winning at URI in overtime. But it was the same play, so they chose to do that. It didn't work, and Fordham loses this one. Credit to Darius Nichols, the head coach for LaSalle, for making the adjustments down the stretch. And for the final time, also, Chris and Joe, their last regular season away game for them. So great call and amazing game.
Amazing game. I mean, with the coach ejection, it being close at the end, Joe and Chris did a great job. We talked at halftime about the fouls. Those obviously became a bigger issue throughout the second half. But also big credit to the LaSalle offense. Rob Dockery played almost 40 minutes, and he scored 23 points. And, that's just 25 at the end of the game. It just wasn't what Fordham was expecting from LaSalle's offense. And so it probably made them a little unsteady, and then your coach gets ejected, which can rile you up, but it could also, maybe he would have had a different play in the last 10 seconds that would have gone differently. So it's just things like that.
Yeah, honestly, like what we talked about in the first half, I don't think McPile and the coaching staff really expected them to put 9 out there in that first 10 minutes. because, again, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. They have so far the whole entire
Yeah.
season with sicknesses and things like that. They have 5 or 6 players out for this game. So you have 10 players playing. 9 of them scored. And
a lot of the young players stepped up too.
Yeah. And, Ashton Walker, that freshman, I mean, he did not play like a freshman. He played like a veteran senior transfer.
He had 35 minutes too. It's crazy all around to see how much they probably were trusting these younger guys because of their injuries and how it really paid off for them.
And like you said, Dockery ended up with 25, he had 4 boards or 7 boards, sorry, 4 boards, sorry, I'm looking at Ashton Walker's. But Dockery's, he's a 6'6" player. That's a skill and a size frame that Fordham has really been struggling with so far. They struggled against Davidson, their stretch 4s, and even Duquesne really as well. They're kind of the more lengthy teams. And Dockery wasn't so much of a factor in the first half, but in the second half down the stretch, he was really too much for Fordham. And I think with Schulte kind of in foul trouble, he kind of had to take a rest there.
Yeah.
Day going on that scoring drought for about 4 or 5 minutes. He was stuck at 15 points. Again, took the lid off the basket with that 3.
Yeah.
But again, it just kind of looked like Fordham was running out of time. I think obviously if there was 2 more minutes of the game, I think Fordham would have won.
Yeah, I think they would have gotten it.
Credit to LaSalle. And again, on that inbounds play with like 20 seconds left, they slipped.
Yeah, that was
Fordham
crazy.
can't connect.
Yeah, that was Dockery, and I was like, you can't do that, but also you did a lot for this team tonight. So
yeah, that was a ball don't lie moment for sure. And then Fordham misses, and it gives LaSalle a chance to really solidify the game there. So Fordham still the inside looking out of a bye. So like Joe Henry said, it's really locked in that you're going to be in that top 10, get that first round bye. So no worries there. But it is kind of a cat race for the end to see who's going to play who.
Yeah.
If you're Fordham, again, the nightmare is playing SLU, but you don't want to focus on anything but winning the next game.
Yeah, you just need to take it one game at a time. The game is Rhode Island. It's their senior day, which it could obviously be a mic thing, but the crowds at LaSalle tonight were so loud. And I know Chris commented on it earlier in the night too. And I think that could bring momentum being at home. You'll have your coach back after being ejected from a game. So it'll be interesting to see. And I think that you can get into the headspace where you're thinking full tournament wise. But like you said, it's just winning one game at a time.
Yeah, and also credit to the Fordham coaching staff as well.
Yeah.
For them to step up like that.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if Troy Hamill and all those guys really stepped up at UC Riverside. They're associate head coach or assistant coaches there at Riverside for McPio. But for them to step up like that, and even Phelps, the ball knower he is, Natty winner, for them to actually step up and really take the reins like that was really cool to see because, again, you never know in the A-10. Any team can beat any team. We've seen it with SLU. They were on their own planet for a while. They fell, and so anything can happen. And that game was really the epitome of the A-10. Like, even without Fordham's a pretty good team this year in the A-10. They lose their coach. They're slipping on the ground. LaSalle is. They missed the shot. Same play as URI.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
I think the coaches really stepped up. Chris said immediately 3 of them were up and just figuring things out as it came. But I think that they were just in this position because there were a couple shots that they just need to make and be more consistent with so that you're obviously a buzzer beater is always exciting, but you don't always want to be there and you do want to win. So I think there's just a couple things that would have put them in a better position to be there. But I think overall for having your coach ejected, they did a really good job. They obviously played a play that they have seen success with in a situation the same from the URI game. So I think overall everyone did the best they could, but LaSalle did. Their offense was on fire tonight.
It's probably their best game of the season.
Yeah.
So, if you're Fordham, got to have your chin looking high because LaSalle played they shot the lights out, especially in the first half, almost shooting 50%. Fordham wasn't even 40% from the field. Definitely their best game of the year. So I don't know if that's, you could say, uncharacteristic for LaSalle, but going into the A-10 tournament, you might probably not see that on a neutral site. So at home, LaSalle, they always got some students out there. Probably not going to see a performance like that. But, if they do get those guys back that they had out, some of them, because some of them are probably out for the season, but if they get some of those guys back, like their top 2 guys, LaSalle might be a kind of a dark horse in that pillow fight. So Fordham will face URI Saturday That's a really big game for them at home. So they'll travel back, and that's the last game of the season.
Yep.
So it'll be senior day. A lot of seniors and graduating players on this team. So congrats to them for their heading home for their last game. But against URI, that was a game that really was a nail-biter as well. Again, we saw that same play. Again, Roricor banked in that 3 in that right wing, and it was kind of the same play here. It really came down to that last 5 or 6 minutes against URI at their place in Rhode Island. But I think it's going to be a totally different story. We saw Mike McPile see the same team twice with the Bonnies. He made adjustments there. Wasn't the same adjustments that Mark Schmidt made, so they ended up losing that one. You played Davidson again, and, they saw St. Joe's again. So they will see URI again. That's also an important game because if you look at the situations for seeding. So for Fordham to get the 7th seed, they needed to win tonight. So that's out of the question.
Out.
For the 8th seed, Fordham has to win against URI, and G-Dub has to lose once in the next 2 games.
Yeah, there's a lot of scoreboard math.
A lot.
That's going on.
And G-Dub is up on the Bonnies right now with under 5 minutes to go. They're up by 6 on the Bonnies. So
all right.
That's
Never
a
say
game.
never, but.
So if you're a Fordham fan, you're also a Bonnies fan tonight.
Right.
And you're also a URI fan tonight.
But
not
not on
Saturday.
Saturday.
You want Duquesne to lose tonight. Rhode Island's up on Duquesne, so that will be a big upset. But, there's a lot of math that goes into that, but really falling to the 10th seed is not really in the question. URI would have to go 2-0, and we would have to lose on Saturday. So that game does have a lot of
you want to win. You want the
politics
security.
involved. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the A10 tournament, everyone gets in.
Yeah,
So all good there. But for us, that's going to be the final time for us here signing off for the Rose Hill Studios. Fordham loses this one 87-84 against LaSalle over in Philly. It was Chris Carrino and Joe Henry on the call. Beautiful call, guys. Over here in the Bronx, it's been Sam Gingrande behind the board as our producer, Austin Ashatino as our engineer handling our stream and graphics, Abby Cristofaro voicing our updates, and I've been your host tonight, Nathan Rogers. Again, thank you to Bobby Cefferdini, our sports director. Fordham Men's Basketball is a production of WFUV Sports. Good night.